Are you ready for the Dependables?
I'd like to show you something.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want, and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no, I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, 'cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm
You have to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky?
What's going on, everybody? And there's exactly 32. How perfect with the YouTube channel name already here, and that number's already escalating fast. What's going on, folks? It is the 102nd episode of Toxic Tuesday, and this one is probably gonna be the most testosterone-filled, homoerotic, sweat-laden flick yet. It's amazing a movie like this has not happened any sooner in the world. You would think it like, how the guys not thought about this? It took some time, obviously with the 70s, the 80s, 90s, WWF. I'm saying F, not E, and then UFC. And then we finally get something like this. And man, it happened. And there's another one coming, well, this week. And I'm like, why not do a tie in? We don't do many tie ins. So this makes sense. Okay, let's do a tie-in for one. So here we are doing a Toxic Tuesday tie-in since Expendables or the Expendables 4, whatever you want to call it, comes out this week. Let's acknowledge some faces in the chat and a super chat right away from Clay Tomasin, who's also a member. How you doing, sir? It says, happy birthday. I hope you had a good one. Thank you, Clay. I did, and I thank you for being here early and right away. Let's acknowledge some quick faces here. All right, Rick Johnson, Rasilian, RJ McReady, Empress NM, Orion KN, Davina Duckworth, Mecca J, Eclipse Musson, Vulcan Lives, The Gilded King, Vince Womack, Yolanda Gaines, hello, Yagnomino, Rida Ibn Muhammad, Darth Viewer, what's up? Tuna Guy, how are you too? Josh Post, how you doing? Deleted Seeds, and do we get... Got you. Phoenix Knight. Oh, wait. Primark. Volk. What's a Primark? Gonzalo Bergali. Hello. Guys are D-Bud Martin. Welcome, guys, to Toxic Tuesday, and thank you for being here early right away. Let's bring on our fellow dudes so we can let this all explode because, well, technically, this is our Expendables as well, because we got a whole group of dudes to talk about this movie. So let's bring in the Keto Simple One himself. How's it going, Dustin?
What's happening, Nick? Happy fucking birthday. Belated birthday,
thank
all
you.
that fun shit.
Oh, how you doing, man? I know you had a stream earlier.
Yeah. We're doing good, man. Doing good. We're just trying to eat some food. I was eating some shrimp fajitas.
Ooh, how was that?
Good. I had to make it real quick. I made it between our stream and this stream.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I bet that had to have been very quick. They're gotta finish quick in time for the toxicity.
Throw it in my face hole and ran up here in my laptop.
Oh, I love that. Well, dude, I'm glad you were able to make it here and early. I would have totally not blamed if you needed extra time because I would never ever so much as rush you. I don't.
I thought about bringing up my shrimp, but
you should, dude, to show it off. Hey, I wouldn't stop you. Wouldn't stop you one bit, man. We love showing out the foods here, so that works out. But I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here early and right away. Also, I want to show you this before I bring in the other dudes. They may have missed this. I showed this off on Comics Division show last night.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah. I was like, dude, Dustin's gonna get kicked out. I showed to my buddy Brandon Morse. He's just like, I need one. So I'm like, yep, Dustin get a kick out of that as well. So us dudes, us dads get these things. We get it. So glad to have you here, sir. Let's bring in our red shirt, the red shirt, just another red shirt. That's right, Dustin, red, white, and bluey. That you get it too. All right, how's it going, red shirt?
Yeah, man, it's going. And happy birthday as well. And you're getting close to the age where you're going to be expected to be a grown-up adult, but I got to say, I hope you resist the temptation. Don't do it. It's over fucking rated. Don't do it.
He is not wrong.
And I have to say, I've been on over 50. I think I've been on over 50 of these shows on Tuesdays, and I've enjoyed every one of them. It's been great. Thank you for inviting me. And I watch movies where I'm like, oh shit, I got to talk about this one. Yeah, these guys. What kind of movies do they want to watch? And then I watch a movie. I'm like, oh, that's classic. I'll just watch it again and we'll talk about it. And then I watch movies that I've never seen. And every once in a great while, I watch a movie I've never seen. And my reaction today was, why have I never watched this movie before? Holy crap, this was great.
Dude.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. This ought to be a hell of a lot of fun. And it is right up the alley. Can I say alley? Can I say that on YouTube? It's right up the alley for Toxic Tuesday. You know what I'm talking about.
Dude. Oh, trust me. We know what you're talking about. We already know this is going to be a very homoerotic stream tonight. And yes, for the record, we are already demonetized in record timing. Oh, I love it. See, this is what we do for you guys. This is what we do. We don't even care. We're gonna keep it that way, and we're gonna be as ridiculous, vulgar, loud, and obnoxious as possible. And like Fat Elvis said, we will not grow up, especially on this show. Thank you for being here, Red Shirt. And how are you, that 70s rock fan?
Good evening, young chap. Happy birthday to you, you youngster.
Thank
You
you.
bairn. You bairn. You're still young enough to be my son. In fact, I think you're younger than my son, if I think about it now.
We could really freak him out and give him two daddies.
I could be young enough to be your son, Brian.
That's true. Two daddies is quite normal these days, though, isn't it? I mean, there's nothing exceptional about that.
You might actually make this stream monetized with the way this conversation. They're going to remonetize
Are you kidding? We're already demonetized. What did we say? We didn't say anything.
Oh, I said homoerotic and all.
Oh, you did? All right. Is that enough? Okay. Well, I mean, what you should have said is the screen will be sprayed with gender fluid tonight, and lots of it. It's going to be gender fluid on screen.
Oh
dear.
I'm glad to have you here, sir.
Well,
Thank you for being here.
Glad to be here, mate. Yes, it's always a pleasure. It's always very pleasurable.
Oh, trust me, the feeling is mutual, and trust me, that feeling is not expendable.
Better. Now, speaking of that, though, don't you think that Jason Statham has really got a hard time of it in these movies? He only gets to come once a year because his name is Christmas. So the poor bugger, he's got the bluest balls in the entire movie.
Oh man, yep. I can feel it. It's gonna be one of those ones. It's gonna be one of those ones.
He's so angry. No.
Yes, somewhere out there, my dad is proud. I agree. Thank you, Dad. I know you're out there listening, playing your bass, drinking a whole gallon of Jack, maybe even Gentleman's, and you're looking down saying, "These guys are fuckers," and we are. Let's bring in our other dudes here. How's it going, Bruce?
Gentlemen, today is a great day. Fowler's Bakery Mischief.
Ooh, he's got the coffee.
Yeah.
Please tell me it's some BBC you're be drinking.
This is blackout coffee.
All right, but it better be BBC.
He's
Blackout.
throwing a BBC down his throat there.
So
Yeah.
just
Oh.
they're gonna sit right here the whole stream. It is by caffeine alone. I set my mind in motion. It is by the beans of Java that thoughts acquire speed. The hands acquire shaking. The shaking becomes a warning. It is by caffeine alone. I set my mind in motion.
Dude,
I don't know if you guys recognize that at all.
I don't.
You never saw Dune?
It's been a long time since I've seen the original Dude. Like a long time, like
Don't recall
almost
that line,
20
but yeah.
years, a long time. I was never a Dune guy, so
Okay.
that's why.
You're
I'll
more
drop you
Dune
the movie
buggy.
link. I'll drop you the movie link in the Gilded, so you can watch it at your choice.
My leisure, yeah.
Yeah, it's a 3-hour edit of the theatrical cut, which was originally 2 hours and 17 minutes. But if you want to see a 3-hour, they got all the deleted scenes proper. They got the music synced up.
Uh-huh.
And this is actually the Juice of Sappho meme. They redid it for coffee, so I thought that would be appropriate. The Juice of the Mentats. Yes. Thank you, Vince.
Oh, see, Dearest gets it. Okay. Hey, no, it's good. It's good to know we got some Dune dudes in here. Dune dudes.
I think you're more Dune
Dune
buggy
dudes.
than Dune, aren't you?
All right.
Happy birthday, Nick.
Thank you. Bruce. Appreciate it. Appreciate you being here. This is the party tonight. And what's up, Mr. Producer? Mark you the C already with the legendary clips that we saw before the show.
Some good surprises tonight. Yeah, I didn't have to take my testosterone supplements today after watching this movie.
Oh, you
Jesus
don't need to
Christ.
do this.
I mean, I've seen it, I saw it when it came out, but you forget. It's like all these dudes together. Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be fun.
All
tonight.
these dudes together. I hope that gets clipped.
All the old dudes, not all the young dudes. All the
young
old dudes.
yeah. All the dudes. Yep.
Is
But,
it the
yeah, there's plenty of
Depends Ables? The Depends.
Yeah,
Ables.
that's a real movie. Yeah.
No, the
So,
Depends Ables.
I always got to have a joke, and hi to Lisa. Yeah, I always got to have a joke about clipping the wrong movies. So I'm like, what if there's a movie called The Dependables, just as a joke? It's actually called Pride of the Lions, and I think after the Expendables came out, they re-released it as The Dependables. It's like, oh, like they should have put Depends on them, I guess. For
I
real
actually think
money.
we should have done that movie. No,
Well, we
'cause
could
that
do.
would
Here
be-
we go. Yeah,
that would be
It's a
an
real
interesting
movie.
test.
Yeah, yeah,
It's got Louis Gossett in it.
yeah. And so it's yeah, and Bo Svenson walking tall.
Bo
Yeah, so
Svensson,
bunch
yeah.
of bunch of old action heroes.
There's
there,
a man who
too,
knew
so-
how to handle a big piece of wood.
Yeah, you can't run, neither can
Always
they. Yeah.
there. There's always a man there ready to handle some wood in his hand. But we got the dudes here who will handle their wood just right.
Yeah, so we've got
Mark-
a couple of surprises for tonight, which will be kind of fun, I think. Yep.
Oh, it's
working on-
gonna be magic.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you for being here early, sir. Appreciate it. And before we let in our returning guest, Primark Vulcan for $4.99 says, I love the Expendables movies. They are the embodiment of the who would win in a fight arguments every boy had with his friends growing up.
Mm.
Dude, story of my freaking life, man. If I wasn't arguing about like Priest or Maiden or like, Megadeth, Metallica in high school, stuff like that, I was arguing about this too. Oh man, so many arguments. I probably people thought I was actually fighting and like being, I guess you could say, like filled with hate, but I really wasn't. I was just very passionate. I was always passionate since I was like in 5th grade. So I was just always loud and very, very like embroiled in my convictions. So
All I can say
it
is
stuck
thank
with
God
me.
Bruce is wearing pants.
It's a short. It's a
I was
pants
horrified
pretty
for a moment. I thought,
I was hoping he wasn't.
I can go without. Hold on.
Oh.
Pants with stream enabled.
Ah, yes.
I love this chair, by
Glad-
the way.
Good. All right. Let's bring
looks
in
like-
our,
that
our
looks-
other dude.
Hey,
What's up, Dash Attack? Welcome
Dash
back.
Attack.
Hey, Nick, thanks for inviting me back. Happy birthday, by the way. I had no idea
Thank
it was your
you.
birthday.
I was trying to not tell anyone until a few people, some who know, like by heart, just all of a sudden blurted it out, and then people blurted out on Monday Night
Good.
Meltdown yesterday. I'm like, okay, I guess I just had to come clean now, and so,
Yeah.
well,
You had to
here I
come
am.
clean. How clean
Well,
are you?
well, that's up for debate. So,
There's
Clean
no
dash-
urinalysis post show.
Yeah,
No urinalysis post show. The HR lady said she's gone for the night.
he's clean and closely shaved too.
oh,
God.
Anyway, I love the Expendables franchise. It's such a great love letter to just pure action, just the action genre as a whole.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Like as I said earlier, right when the show started, like it was one of those things I used to always kind of like reminisce about this, especially when I was living in the Chicago area during the days of like the Michael Jordan, like era of the Bulls, which I was vested in. I used to always watch a lot of these action flicks, I thought, why aren't like they getting like a bunch of these guys together in like one big movie? It always bugged me. I'm like, how is this not happening? Like, you would think this would have happened, like, once again, a little sooner. It drove me crazy because I would be obsessed with Bloodsport. I would be obsessed with Rambo. I'd be obsessed with Total Recall. I'd be obsessed with all these movies. And I'm just like, how is this not happening?
Too much
that was right around the
testosterone and
time.
too much ego.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
I'm sure. That was right around the
took
time
too
when
long.
Planet Hollywood
Expensive.
was launching.
Yeah, but
too.
wait a minute,
Remember
Mark,
Planet
that's a good-
Hollywood?
That's a good point, Mark, because there is so much dick measuring going on in this movie with the egos of the actors. And you're just looking at Sylvester Stallone looking at Arnold Schwarzenegger going, mine's bigger. And Stallone's going, you wish. and Bruce Willis is sitting there going, I'm not going to get into this argument. I just want to know who wants to do this job. It's so funny.
Surprised the church stayed intact.
It is such an in joke. It's like it's three actors who are all looking at each other going,
dude.
I
I think D-Bud's onto something.
D-Bud's got it right, yeah.
You have the biggest dick I've ever seen on a man.
Yes, exactly. But I mean, that's what everybody's doing in this movie. They're all trying to one up each other. It's so funny.
I mean, Terry
and
Crews,
it has nothing to do with the script. They just look at each other and go, I'm going to do it. It's like, yeah, you're not going to do it. You just watch them all of it. And you can tell they're all like, I'm going to take this scene. No, you're not. Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
No, you're not.
No, but right around the Planet Hollywood. I remember when Planet Hollywood opened up because I had an uncle who was big into the action movies as well. And he was from Puerto Rico, so when he came to America, he was obsessed with the action movies. He's like, "Oh, we gotta go check out this Planet Hollywood. It's run by a lot of the big action star names." And to me, that was like the coolest thing. I was like, "Whoa, we're downtown Chicago, Planet Hollywood. This is the coolest." Like, it was all these guys have basically just kind of been a part of my life. I mean, that's why I'm wearing freaking Lincoln Hawk shirt from freaking Over the Top, man. That was one of our earliest Toxic Tuesdays. I think that was way before Bruce, a little bit before Red Shirt, I think. But I'm sure 70s Dustin and Mark were there for Over the Top. I
think so, yeah.
I think I missed that one, but I was on the show at that time. But yeah.
So
Canon movies, Canon films.
Oh, I know, right? Oh, it really is one of the greats. It really is. But so imagine my excitement come 2010. I remember that was the summer that had Toy Story 3. It also had Iron Man 2, which also had Mickey Rourke, just like this movie. And I'm thinking, holy crap, they're finally doing this. They're having a movie where they're having all these names. Oh, thanks for clarifying, Vince. It was the third Toxic Tuesday. Vince is so quick on the research. I love it. Thank you, Vince.
You were a much younger man then.
I know. I was. I think I may have been 34. I saw something like that.
I think Nick Weiser was a fetus then.
Yeah.
I'm very surprised that this teenager Nick is with us tonight because he still looks super young. Okay. Hold on to whatever genetics you've got, my friend. They will not last. I got
No,
four
they won't.
pates. We got 4 pates on the panel that are exposed. Okay.
You know, I'm trying to write it out like as long as like a Bruce Dickinson or Glenn Danzig, and just try to be as lively, energetic as possible until I die. Like,
That's
especially
you
like
got to
seeing,
do that. You can't change
see,
yourself. You have to be who
well,
you are. Age
Oh,
not.
and I'm
Yeah.
trying, and that's I'm trying, man. I'm trying. And before I get into a little more, the Guilt Man Thomas, it has been way too long. Says for $9.99, I love this movie so much. And the second one, dude, third one I was very mixed on. I'm with you on all that. I'm seeing the fourth one Sunday night. I'm really excited. Stallone is an amazing actor, and I'll see anything he's in. Hail and hail to you, sir. Thank you for the
Including
$9.99.
Stopper,
And
My Mum Will Shoot.
I
Was
remember
was he in
seeing.
that? Was he in that?
Yes,
No.
Stallone was. But what happened was there was a thing where Arnold said, "Hey, you should take this movie." And Stallone took the movie. He said, "Oh, what the crap is this?" And by that point, Stallone was already committed. But I remember I called seeing this movie. I remember I was with some friends at the time, and I called. I was with one of my buds. His name is Dave, and we were with his girlfriend at the time, Tiffany. And I wasn't the third wheel; she was the third wheel. Because me and Dave were just so mesmerized by all the testosterone and brutality, and we talked about how what we saw was a brogasm.
If ever there was a moment, Mark, for you to play the Apollo and Rocky clip, it was that sentence right there.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
It's
I was
straight
doing a
up.
clip behind. I was doing a clip behind the scenes, and it doesn't have anything to do with dicks.
Yeah, I remember, and that I remember this is when like I remember it was one of those things here. I remember getting out there, and she's like, "I just survived a brogasm with my boyfriend and his friend Nick." That was a weird experience. I remember posting that. I'm like,
There is
wow,
such a thing.
that sounds really gay. and the rest was absolute history. And yeah, rewatching it, I've rewatched it 3 times in the last month, and dude, you don't even have to have like a big black coffee. You can just put on this movie, and you're fucking up and ready, and you're ready to freaking like punch a hole in your wall. It's great.
Oh yeah, you're bouncing in your chair after watching this. Either that or somebody should check your pulse.
It does have spiritual forebearers, though, with things like the Dirty Dozen and the Wild Bunch and
Yeah.
Heroes. So there's some older examples of movies that tried to get a bunch of those guys together. Yeah, this is the ultimate, though, I think.
You know, I
I
remember
agree.
seeing this movie, not really knowing what it was about. I went with a group of guys in high school, and we loved it. We absolutely loved it.
When I first saw this movie back in 2010, I took my best friend at the time, who had driven 45 miles out of his area to come see me, and like, hey, dude, let's grab some steaks. We'll drink a beer or two, and we'll head over to the movie theater and watch this film because I haven't seen you forever, and I know you'll love this. And he had no idea what he was in for. So we go watch this movie, and the opening of it just kind of blew him away. He's like, fucking Stallone's in this. Fucking Jason Statham's in this. What? Wait, is that Mickey Rourke?
Statham.
And they've got like, you know, they do this kind of slow opening where they show off the boys in the boys club, and that's just a real cool opening. If you're there with your buddy and you're watching the film, that is just a real cool way to just start a guy's movie, a testosterone just laden film. By the end of the movie, I felt like Imo Quinnovan, the young Finnish soldier that killed an entire month's supply of Pervitin, today's modern methamphetamines back in World War II, that had a resting heart rate of 236 a minute whenever they finally found him 3 weeks later after he ingested the entire gel cap of it. And I felt just so freaking high. I felt like I had snorted cocaine with JCVD, and it was just amazing film. Dude, this movie is so badass. How can you not love this film?
Mrs. Redshirt loved this film.
Oh, did
Let's
she?
just put it that way. Mrs. Redshirt loved this film, and she was like, "I gotta make dinner, but I gotta watch this."
I agree with RJ Godzilla. It's a shame Chuck Bronson hadn't been lived long enough to do a role.
I
just a
thought about
cameo.
that.
Yeah. Oh
Like,
God, yeah.
the rewatch makes you think about who could have been,
I
and
know,
like,
Chuck.
and
Yeah.
Charles Bronson would have been perfect. Clint Eastwood would have been great. Burt Reynolds would have been great. Obviously Jackie Chan. I
Burt
think he's
Reynolds.
done with mush.
Well, Burt Reynolds
ahead.
would have been a walk on where he just says something funny, and they all look at him and go,
Yeah.
"What?" And it would have still, the audience would still have fallen over laughing because Burt would be like,
yeah.
"Well, I'm not an action movie actor, but you guys go do what you got to do. Good luck." You know, and it just would have been, you know, you'd have driven up in a black Trans Am and gone, "Need any help?" They'd be like, "No." It's like, good, and driven away.
I
That
know
would
you
have been
guys
funny.
I know you guys don't agree with what I'm about to say here, but I really can't wait for there's a Reface app, and I think there's going to be a couple more versions of that coming out where you can not just reface somebody, but you can reskin an entire model. And I'm waiting for this movie to have Steve McQueen as the driver. I'm waiting for this film to have Burt Reynolds take over the Arnold Schwarzenegger church scene. I'm waiting for Sylvester Stallone to be replaced by Humphrey Bogart. I'm waiting for that. That's the part of the special effects that I'm actually waiting for, where you can replace all the actors with your favorite dead ones. I'm going to make James Coburn fucking Eric Roberts, okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
The only problem is Reface, they pulled all the celebrities out because they were getting sued. So I was using that for the earlier shows, and then I went back to, you know, try to find Stallone, and all the celebrities are gone.
Yeah.
So all the movies. So I think maybe you have to upload your own clips and do it, but I was
And that's
bummed
funny
out by that.
because Stallone was how they marketed it. They showed this guy doing the Rambo 2 reface, and they were using Rambo 2's footage with this schlup's face on it. That was how they advertised
Yeah,
Reface
it was
on
great.
Instagram.
It was so fun. Yeah, we have all those clips from.
I just think it's a shame we've not had an all-female version of this.
Yes, Soul Assassin.
Wait a minute. 70s, just
You
wait a
watch-
minute.
you
It's
just watch
arriving.
new
It'll be
Star Wars for that.
Yeah, it'll be soon.
Don't give them any ideas. But yes,
The
Soul
worst one was
Assassin.
Ghostbusters.
There was a Expendables comic, and it was written by Robert C. Meyer. Believe it or not.
Richard. Now,
C. Meyer.
there's a one before it. There's one before it. But you are right, Dash. The one that was before it was actually by Mr. Chuck Dixon. And what happened was I listened to this from a Chuck Dixon episode on his YouTube channel. Chuck said that he had a comic. Apparently, it got to Sylvester Stallone. And Sylvester Stallone got a hold of Chuck Dixon's phone number, and he called up Chuck. And apparently Chuck said that he got a phone call one day, and when he answered the call, it said, "You were about to receive a call from Sylvester Stallone. Will you answer?" So, of course, he said, yeah. He answered, and he said he came down to, he had a great conversation, and he came down to talk to him about, he wouldn't say, but it was for another idea for a movie. Apparently, he said the conversation fell through. He said, not with Stallone, but with the studio himself. But he thought that was going to be the end of it. However, he said a few weeks later, hearing from Stallone again, said he loved what he had done with the Expendables comic. And he said, "Hey, I really like what you did. No, I would like for you to do more." He said, "I had this idea that Hollywood won't let me do, which is the book The Expendables Goes to Hell."
I own
which
it.
is with your boy, Richard C. Meyer. And that's where that all led to. And Chuck said, "I'm going to tell, I got someone who would love to do it because I know Richard Meyer was a big Sylvester Stallone fan." And apparently Chuck said, "Hey, are you sitting down? Just make sure you're sitting down. I got to tell you something." And he told him, and apparently he said that Zach freaked out. Like, holy crap! Like, is this a reality? I wish I would too. I couldn't contain myself if I heard that news. That I was going to write a book approved by Sylvester Stallone using his character likeness. Yeah, The Expendables Goes to Hell. It's so crazy. Like, what a wild story. Like, Chuck could have had his moment, and then it didn't go over well, but he still got to hang out with Stallone and follow through and have a follow-up. And apparently now they still keep in touch to this day.
Oh,
And
that's
I'm like,
cool.
damn, that is so cool. Like, I mean, Chuck Dixon's already a comic book legend. Then you added Stallone to the mix, and of course, your boy Zach is one of the revolutionaries of the CG movement. So it's so cool that it all panned out the way that it did. Life is fascinating like that.
Yeah, I agree. It was, and it is really like wild. Like you see like these like chariots in hell, like they all just get blown up out of nowhere, and then they're suddenly like they're in hell. There's like dragons and shit.
Uh-huh. I haven't read the comic from Zach. I have not read it, but is it really that wild? Because apparently Stallone said that Hollywood would not let him do that version of a movie.
Oh yeah, like they all die, and then like they're suddenly like they're in hell, and there's like demons all over the place, and like there's dead armies fighting all over the place.
Uh-huh.
It's I didn't finish, but I gotta track it down and see how it ends. I gotta track it down and see how it ends. I have it somewhere, but like that's how crazy it was.
It sounds redonkulous. It sounds absolutely redonkulous.
Sounds lovely.
But that's the way I like it. That's the way I like it.
Dude,
All
I
right,
love
we got.
Gonzo shit.
Say that again.
I love the Gonzo shit. I mean, there's a reason why I watched Army of Darkness over 40 times when it first came out on
Great
VHS.
movie.
Great film.
Fantastic movie. That might have to be a Toxic Tuesday, Army of Darkness. Just saying.
It should be. It should.
I think it might have to be. I mean, we do got Halloween coming up, and I was thinking about a little bit of that.
Army of Darkness. I'm surprised you haven't done it yet. That is a perfect.
We haven't done that, and we haven't done Blade yet. I'm just saying, maybe that's a hint.
God.
Maybe that's a hint. Not to get into the preview. I don't want to be a trailer guy that says the preview. But chat, just let that be your cock tease.
If we do something for the for Blade, we should send the proceeds to Wesley Snipes for the tax money.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely, because he got.
And by the way,
what about the guy from Survivor? I was gonna say, what about the guy from Survivor? Oops, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
go ahead, Mark.
Sorry, I was gonna say, what about poor Richard Hatch, the guy from Survivor who didn't pay taxes on $1 million, and he went to jail for like 4 years? But what? Not to get into Hunter Biden, but Hunter Biden didn't pay taxes on multiple millions over multiple years. It's like the Survivor guy should be really pissed off. It's like,
I
ended
know,
up going
right?
to jail. But anyway, go ahead. Yeah.
By the way, Nick, I'll talk to you privately, but we have a follow-up to a recent show that we could do.
Okay. No, let's do that.
That is
man.
all.
We'll
That is, in my opinion, a better reboot. One of the few better reboots.
Ooh, okay. We're gonna
We'll
be
talk
in
about it.
touch. All right.
Yes.
That's nuts. People chase helicopter tours for $2. So the panel isn't the cast of next Expendables. We're way too expendable. We will straight up perish.
The Expendables, maybe.
I can't run either.
Jaffo said yesterday on Monday Night Meltdown, he called it the Extendables.
That's right.
Yeah.
The Extendables. Mark, is the screen okay?
Oh, I was off the screen. Let me see what happened.
Oh. No, I mean, like, it shows it, but it's a bit slower than it usually is. Just making sure.
I thought it was okay. Let me check. Yeah, I thought. Oh, yeah, maybe I had it. Oh, it was showing something the other night. Let me check. Yeah.
All right. Well,
Thank you. Yeah, I was editing.
out.
I was editing some clips in the background, so it was off the screen. But thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, no worries. I'm going to acknowledge this quick direct donation, because what happens when we get a direct donation? We give us the most patriarchal hit ever. And deleted scenes with a red hot $20 says, "Hail panel and chat, happy 19th birthday, Nick. The Expendables is this generation's Dirty Dozen." I agree on that, and thank you for the ridiculously generous 20 deleted scenes. That's gonna go to a good cause. It's gonna go to a great cause. Thank you, Steven. I gotta get you back on here again sooner than later. But this is a hell of an open. And there was in a deleted scene. There is a version of this scene where it plays out where Gunner, aka Dolph Lundgren, interrupts, and he just starts kind of going off and getting really chatty towards our terrorist guy, the main terrorist guy. Because I never looked at the terrorist guy's name. To me, he's just generic terrorist who deserves to die. and Gunner goes, and Gun, he actually just freaking offs the guy like that. It's a pretty explosive shot. I'm like,
What?
I know when Tom gets here, we'll have to talk about the shot, but he just didn't compromise at all. And obviously, you see him. This is a moment where Gunner gets let out the team because he wants to hang one of the guys because we don't like those guys.
Yeah.
Extreme. Like, we
But-
can't
but
have this guy.
What I love about the first scene is when all of those lasers suddenly appear,
Hmm.
and he's like
Freaking
looking at them.
lasers.
Frickin' sharks with frickin' lasers. The laser beams appear, and he suddenly realizes, wait a minute, I know what this means. I've heard of this before. And there's like 2 of them on him, and you just know the game has just changed, gentlemen. We're not in the same scene anymore. Something new has been added.
We're going to need more pirates.
Well, yeah, we're going to be there's going to be a distinct shortage of pirates very soon.
Other than boy
I-
Terry Crews.
He was like caught completely blindsided. He had no point what to do, but yet he still wanted his money. He's still like, if he was going down, it was going to be asking, where is his money?
Isn't it funny that Terry Crews' name in this was Hail Caesar? I laugh so hard.
Really? Hail Caesar.
Hail Caesar.
Names are all great though. Lee Christmas.
Yeah,
Yin
Lee
Yang,
Christmas, Barney, Ross.
Toll Road.
Yang.
Oh,
Road.
Steve Austin was paid.
Toll Road, yeah.
Steve Austin.
French Mauser. I know that's this really not really introduced till the second
Oh,
movie. because
Randy
Army-
Couture, Toll Road.
Yeah, they're just great
Expendables all
names.
have weird names.
Mickey Rourke is a tool.
Mickey Rourke's.
Well, it
Well,
seems
you-
like
you
in this
do-
movie,
you
he
right.
was providing the tool to a revolving door of, to a revolving door of ladies. Also, so, yes, the names are ridiculous. And I think there was a self-awareness on Stallone to make it that way because he's playing on all the tropes and really, he's like, okay, I know what the rules are or lack thereof. And he obviously he's feeding into it and he really, really heavily relies on that. Ridiculous names, ridiculous explosions, on the nose, over the top, cheesy, ridiculous one-liners that make no sense. And I'm sure most of this wasn't scripted. If I had to take a very educated guess, I'm sure the choreography was scripted, but in terms of what the dialogue was, most of these lines are probably all on the damn fly. Probably even almost all of it, because there's no way a writer of this movie could be like, yeah, this is what this guy's gonna say. This is what this guy's gonna say. No, you're not that creative to come up with these type of names. Only these guys. And this was directed by Stallone. This is the only one, shockingly, of the 3 so far, obviously the 4th coming out, that he did. I wish he'd done more of them director-wise. I really do.
Especially part 3.
Yeah. Dude, that was a fumble.
Hey,
door's
why did they make it PG-13?
They thought it was gonna have, I guess you could say the this is gonna be a stereotypical excuse, but the broader audience.
Yes.
Now here's where it's interesting. Obviously, it bombed in America, but if you look at its overseas numbers, it still did really good. These movies are gangbusters huge, like Transformers big. You know how we always talk about how Transformers, the Fast Furious movies do very well overseas. Well, the Expendables movies do well too. They do crazy huge over there as well. So I think that's why they're still able to recoup the loss of the money.
That's because they still want to see guys
wait a
kicking
minute.
ass. They want guys
Well, wait a
kicking
minute.
ass. That's what
It's
they
a
want.
simple
Yeah,
film,
but
just like 70 said.
Yeah,
The problem is with making an Expendables movie PG-13 is a Disney mistake. You know that there's home video.
Yeah.
You know there's home video. You know that people will buy DVDs, Blu-rays, steel books of this thing. Rated. You put the action and the violence in it. You put the swear words in it. You make them all just tells in terms of, hey, you know what, in Die Hard, but you didn't really actually swear much, did you? Fuck you. You know, that's the kind of line you want to hear in a movie like this. And no, you're not going to get a PG-13 rating, but you're going to sell a truckload of DVDs and Blu-rays on the basis of this thing as people go, yes, I want to own that series. There are still movies like this that should be made to be rated R. Are you going to get the same? Are you going to get the same theater audience? No. Are you going to get? Are you going to get the long-term sales? Yes.
Nope.
I'm sure Valiant Renegade is taking notes somewhere and making notes on. I'm going to write a script for a show where I make Just Under the Red Shirt look like a complete idiot. But I still think there are some shows that you can't do PG-13. You have to do it this way.
Strongly.
Well,
I strongly agree.
The Expendables, like the tone had been set to like just tone it back. Like at the third movie, it's like, you know, it's too late.
I do not believe when you make a move like that you gain an audience. I believe you lose some of your existing audience.
Oh, I know.
What franchise has benefited from that? I'd like to think not many have.
None.
No, I remember. I think
made
Blade Trinity, was it Blade Trinity the third?
Yeah,
of the
that
Blade
was the one
movies?
they
That
went
was the PG-13.
Yeah, that movie's remembered so fondly.
Terminator, was it the one with Christian Bale? I think that one PG-13 as well. Yeah, and they all
Did
they
we mention
flopped.
the Die Hard that went PG-13?
Live for Your Die Hard. Sadly,
Yeah.
interestingly, that's the least worst one of the bunch. That's the least.
Conan.
The emphasis was least worst.
I mean, Conan's a perfect example. Conan, the first Conan movie was R-rated. The second movie was PG-13 rated.
The Destroyer.
And it looked
Look at the numbers. Yeah, look at the numbers.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, but they also shrank the budget as well. They made that budget so anemic. You didn't even have the wonderful score from Podolus, Basil Podolus. You had some tinny Glee bullshit that tried to be Conan, but it was just like an off brand of Xena. I'm sorry, Xena fans.
And I mean, I own a dozen of the original Conan novels. And I'm sorry, I've read those books when I was in high school, and they were pretty fucking cool when I was in high school.
Cool.
You don't make a PG-13 rated movie out of a Conan story, okay? That doesn't work.
Yeah,
that's not what Conan stories are.
It was R, and you know what? I remember at the time it didn't seem like an R movie. That's weird to think. That doesn't. I mean, you are right. You are. I looked it up really quick. You are right, but yeah, well, I remember seeing it there. It didn't feel like it, so they must have really. Maybe there's. I don't know, maybe too much language, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was all the
F-bombs. The movie felt like an R movie. Like, even the violence in the movie didn't feel as brutal as the two movies before. You watch 1 and 2, and it's absolutely, like, rated R to the fullest extent. So, anyways, ratings and all. Let's get to our Gavin Newsom, not Gavin Newsom, and, and all the...
Oh my God, you're right. He does look like Gavin Newsom.
Oh man. Oh, I'm trying to think what
he's going to be running probably.
Monroe's his name. Yeah, but
Gavin Newsom is like that franchise Mexican restaurant owner that has one shop and it sucks. It always gets a 41 on a health inspection, but he's like, you know what? I think this town could use more of them, and that's exactly what the fuck he's doing.
James Monroe. I had to look up his first name because I always forget his first name. But dude, I realized too. Also, what's cool with this movie? It really shows how awesome.
Here's the scene.
Never mind. I'm gonna hold off on talking about Steve Austin for this legendary scene because I you know that part where Trump says I'm gonna come. I probably did at this scene in the theater. The fact that all three of these guys in the screen and where boys you know him is like Bonnie Ross. Big Bonnie Ross is like a bigger, even bigger trench. And then he's like, oh, You lost weight, whatever way I lost, you found. And big Bonnie Ross.
He was still governor at the time. That's why he wasn't in the full movie.
Yep. And apparently,
he wants to be president.
Stallone wanted
That great
originally
best meta line ever.
Yes.
Stallone wanted originally Kurt Russell for the part of Bruce Willis's Church, because that's Bruce Willis's character name of this was Church. Oh, you guys start sucking each other's dicks. Sorry, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, Mark, where
and
is
it's true. The sexual
ready?
tension in this church is real. I mean, like they all better go to confession.
Are we demonetized?
We are now.
Dude, I don't care if we aren't. Just
You guys
do
aren't
it.
gonna start sucking
Please.
each other's dicks, are you? Let's get down to business.
And I gotta say, the fact that Kurt Russell's not in this movie is a great shame. It really is.
Oh yeah, he would have
couldn't
been
make
great
it, or
for
what happened?
Expendables.
Apparently at the time, now I don't know if his feelings have changed since 13 years ago, but apparently at the time he said he was not interested in an ensemble movies. And I know obviously he did Tango and Cash with Stallone, so there is history there. Maybe maybe now he's interested, because he ended up doing 7 years later, obviously, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. No, I wouldn't exactly call that an ensemble cast, but it is definitely a biggerish cast, I would say, because he was obviously Ego the Living Planet.
He was also in that crappy Fast and Furious movie.
Oh, was he? Which one?
He did 2 Christmas movies for Netflix that were pretty good.
Yes,
And
I haven't seen those.
he's
One more of
talking-
those.
In those 2 Netflix movies, he's actually talking to Mel Gibson, and they're cross talking through the movies at each other.
And this is where Church gets very, very, very touchy with his comments. I'm gonna chop you up into little fucking dog treats. I'm like, whoa, bro, you're getting really
Okay, so
personal
one thing I
there.
was wondering.
Go ahead.
No, so one thing I was wondering about him, was he wanting all the drugs and money on that island? Because they blew all that shit up.
They blew everything up. Who?
Yeah,
Church?
I mean, what?
Who
He said there were
wanted
some resources on that island that he wanted. Was it the money and
It's
the
a
drugs?
it's a CIA cover up. They just wanted to get rid of the guy that betrayed him, so they couldn't tie it back to the CIA.
That's why they wanted these guys to do it, because they are the most expendable, and they are the guys when all else fails, they can resort to these guys, because they are basically they kind of live an off the grid life. They don't live a normal human life the way us regular people do.
Yeah, it's kind of like, in John Wick, where you bring in the cleaners and you pay them the coins, 1 coin per body, and go clean it up. And they go, pleasure doing business with you. And they make everything disappear. That's kind of the way I thought the Church wanted these guys to do this. Make it disappear.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I agree. National Disgrace. That's a great name, by the way. I like that the jokes absolutely were real. Like between the ridiculous names and all the fact that they lean into Randy Couture's cauliflower ear too, and then and they and this was another a deleted scene too, where he kind of babbles on a little longer about it. And then they start saying, "I look like they say I look like a gay man, like a queer man, because of my ear."
I thought this was the deleted scene.
You guys aren't gonna start sucking each other's dicks, are you?
You have the biggest dick I've ever seen on a man.
Let's get down to business.
Good luck with that.
You got to match those up, right? I got a couple
that
more
was a
matchups coming.
good.
We're gonna vote on which is the best one, then we can keep it for super chats, baby.
Oh, I know that. That definitely had. No, that's gonna stick around. That's for sure. As Arnold did say, I think it was Commander. He said, "Stick around."
Stick around.
Stick
Yeah, we
around.
need to add that into something.
The big old plan, and right off the bat too. Like this was a good opener too for people who may not have been as aware of some of the newer names, because you got to get a good idea of Randy Couture, Steve Austin, obviously Mickey Rourke, but also Jason Statham here, who's second in command to Stallone. Because I do have a lot of action dudes who weren't, I guess you could say, not paying as much attention, and a lot of them became fans. You know,
Yeah.
for
Jet
traditional
Li.
Statham fans, it was the Transporter. But for a lot of
Yeah.
others, it was the first Expendables. And it really got to show you what Statham was all about. And he has quite a few great moments in here.
He's got some of the best
Blade
scenes, I think.
guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love that
dude.
basketball court scene.
Oh,
Yeah, what I
Crap
found
out of the guy.
what you're talking about with whether you know about Jason Statham from before, like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, or some of his other earlier movies that are made in Britain and are
Snatch.
mostly British movies. The Transporter Statham is almost always a physical actor for fighting. The idea that, he's a blade master, he's a knife thrower, that was new. That was not, normal for Jason Statham. I thought that was interesting because he's normally the guy who just beats somebody to a pulp in a really creative way and ruins their whole day. And the fight scenes that Statham has done in his previous movies are amazing. In here, it's much more economical, much faster. A lot of the fighting in here is a lot more quick, done. You get shot, you get stabbed, you get this, you get that. Jet Li is probably the only one who really gets to do a lot of physical fighting. Of course,
right up his alley, too.
I have to
Right
say,
up his alley.
I have to say, I love the line when Stallone finally managed, has been fighting with one of the bad guys, and they go, "What happened to you?" He goes, "I just got my ass kicked," and I'm like, "Oh, that's straight from Rocky."
Hold on, here's this great line here. What are your names? And then Lee's like, Buddha and Pest.
Pest.
Nice.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, Buddha and Pest. And by the way, yes, and I said to Mrs. Richard, I said, "Do you realize that the city of Budapest is actually two cities, Buda and Pest, separated by a river with lots of bridges over them?" But yeah, they literally from ancient times have been known as Buda and Pest, but we call both of them collectively Budapest today. That actually was funny on a historical basis.
Oh, I
was
did not
laughing my
know
ass
that.
off.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they were once upon a time they were separate cities with a river between them, and they were like, "Well, why don't we build a shit ton of bridges and then we can be one city?" And they were like, "That's a good idea."
Where's Tom Connors is the more you know clip for that part.
There you go.
That kind of blew my mind. Seriously, I did not
She's
know
smoking
that.
hot too. I'm just
the
She's
Brazilian
pretty.
lady.
She's very pretty.
Oh yeah, she is.
See, we're more than just toxic.
Tuesday is educational.
I want to say, can we also give a shout out to Steve Austin? He is a badass right hand man type of villain.
Yep.
He is a monster. Like when you obviously when you see him in WWF, you know he's a big guy, but obviously when you put him like next to like the Undertaker or Kane, he didn't seem as big. But when you see him on screen, you're like, dude, this guy's a giant. He's only he's 6'2". He's not as tall as like The Rock or even The Rock. Like I said, but you see him on screen with these guys, like, dude, this guy's a freaking tank. I can't even
He's
imagine.
got a neck like fucking George Fisher.
Oh, he does have a corpse grinder neck.
He has a neck? Wait a minute. He has a neck?
We need a neck reveal.
I thought his head grew straight out of his shoulders.
Yeah. I never really watched wrestling, but I had a Steve Austin action figure growing up as a kid, and it was like one of my favorites.
Dude, Stone Cold icon. And the fact that you get him and Stallone, like once again, another time I probably almost had a brogasm because it was like my worlds colliding. I grew up on Over the Top, Cobra, the Rocky movies, the Rambo movies, and then I grew up as a Stone Cold Steve Austin guy. And
wait a minute.
And see, Vince is shocked too. Yeah, 6'2". I thought he was short. You would think he was shorter, but it's because a lot of the guys he fought were all bigger guys who he would just happen to beat. Even Triple H was a much bigger guy. I think Kurt Angle may have been maybe around his height. Maybe Kurt Angle's his closest. Booker T, I think, was even taller than him too. Stone Cold always fought bigger opponents.
Barney Ross missed an opportunity there. He should have said, I want you to prove, Sandra, that you're not you're a good person. Take your top off and I'll believe you that you've not set us up. He missed his chance there.
Yeah.
Trust me. I want to see trust.
That would have been Mad Mardigan's great moment.
No, that would have made Mad Market be like, oh, you're staying back here. Now you're staying here.
I mean, that would be funny, especially since he's been was lecturing Christmas about women before.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Don't
you think Eric Roberts does make the greatest slimy villain in history, though? I mean,
he
sleazy,
does.
slimy.
Oh, yeah.
He's born to play
Absolute
sleazy.
shit.
Born to play that. Yeah.
Not Gavin Newsom, because I'm just gonna keep calling him that for this movie.
Yeah. I can't get. You said it, and now I can't get it out of my mind.
You can't unsee it. Now that you've seen it. Yep, you can't unsee it. Yep, that's Gavin Newsom.
I do like the general as well. David Zayas is a good actor. He was in Dexter for many years.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think this because obviously it's going at the speed. We do gotta acknowledge a quick scene where Lee Christmas did go to visit his kind of sort of girlfriend, and he saw that she was with another guy because I don't know you.
She wasn't expecting
it's been
him.
a year.
She wasn't expecting him. He came early. Christmas came early.
Yeah. Yes. Christmas came early.
Every once in a while, you just it happens. It happens to all of us.
That was so well played, 70s. Oh, it's Tom. Oh,
Well done.
Hey, Tom.
Tom.
Yeah,
Oh my
Speaking
God.
of rugged superhero types.
Sorry about that. I took a nap and overslept.
It's okay, man.
A
You're
fifth
here.
mate enters the
We're
arena.
loaded. We're
Says
loaded on
Bad Tom was out
testosterone.
fighting crime all night, so that's why you're tired.
Right.
Mhm.
That's right.
You came
Well,
here at a good part.
Christmas's second visit to his girlfriend was Mrs. Redshirt's favorite. That was actually her
Mine
favorite
too.
scene in the movie.
I love that scene.
I'll deflate all your balls.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's gonna go. Yeah. Gonna go. We need to have a conversation. I don't need to talk to you.
How-
Yes, you do.
See,
He got fucked so hard after that.
Oh yeah.
You
I
almost
agree.
killed us, Paul. You almost killed us. You
I-
welcome.
Oh, I agree with the Angry Gamer. I'd love to
Are
see
you
Robert
crazy?
Davey in one of these movies, but he could play
Oh.
Agent Johnson, Special Agent
In
Johnson.
part 3.
He could have
The
come
problem-
in as FBI
He's
guy.
not in a good one. He's
Yeah.
in part 3.
The problem with
Okay.
this movie and Jason Statham having a girlfriend is it went against my joke I always used to tell about. I'm not so sure if Jason Statham just isn't gay because you never see him with a woman.
That's why he's Mad Martigan's favorite actor.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, yeah.
Oh no.
He is English after all. I mean, come on.
No, you missed the church
Yeah.
scene, Tom. We already got.
Oh, you miss
Well, we'll have to play another
70s is
version for
perfectly
Tom, yeah.
time. You miss 70s is perfectly timed. Christmas came early joke for him visiting his not girlfriend.
And RJ Godzilla says Christmas came in July. Is that her name? Was that her name, July?
I rather suspect, Tom, that the reason you never see Jason Statham with a woman is that none of them survive him.
Well, this is for
Maybe.
Tom
It's
here.
You
because
guys aren't going to start sucking each other's dicks, are you?
You have the biggest dick I've ever seen on a man.
Like, I don't know if it's gay unless you like make eye contact while there's the blowjob.
Let's get down to business.
it's because Jason Statham's down the pub with his mates because he's a bloody Londoner, isn't
You
he?
guys aren't going to start sucking each other's dicks, are you?
He's an
Well,
East Ender.
can't play that too
He's an
much,
East
right?
Ender. He's down the pub with his mates, not hanging about with some stupid bint.
How come,
Moistened bint.
you know what? A Brazilian lady is the reason to thank and blame equally for why this movie continued to happen. Because she chose not to go with them and to stay back and be stubborn. And to see that's why Matt Morgan would have not liked her at all. You would not.
Oh, no.
This would not work out.
That was the whole reason for that was the whole plot from the movie, right? You know, at the end, of course,
Yes.
like, why'd you
come-
want to kill me? Yeah,
I came for her.
I came for her, Adrian.
Yep.
At least they didn't get the you know, we're jumping to the end, but at least Stallone didn't get the big wet sloppy kiss because that would have, you know, I mean, she's a little
old
bit
enough
too
to
young
be
for-
my daughter, you know.
Yeah,
You're like
so-
the same age as my daughter.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
This could be a bit weird.
In fact, they used to have like pajama parties and
Yeah,
stuff.
Barney strikes me as a men go their own way type of guy.
I agree on that. Yeah. All men are their own.
Self-reliant, you're saying. Self-reliant.
Yeah.
Yes.
You don't need no woman.
You don't need, and Statham needs just mad.
Can I
I
just
get
say,
that.
I really appreciated the fact that they had a very cool aircraft of their own to fly around in.
Oh,
Well, yeah.
right.
That thing's like the Batmobile now.
Yeah. Was
They
it
should
an
do a Playmobil
albatross?
of that
An
one.
albatross or something? It's
Oh
called?
no,
I don't
no,
know.
it's later. It was no, that's a later airplane.
Oh, that's a later one. Okay.
Yeah, it's not the albatross. It is a very cool flying boat. I'm still trying to figure out.
I thought this was the
couldn't-
albatross right there. I thought that was it.
Yeah. No, I couldn't find out exactly what that was. This is the one that Mrs. Redshirt called bullshit on when he jumped and grabbed the door.
Oh yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
no way, that wouldn't happen. I'm like, it's an action movie. Roll with
It's
it.
an action movie. You're not supposed
Yeah.
to imply logic. What they say, this is supposed to be like the most ridiculous of the ridiculous, and this movie like really like amplifies. It leads into the ridiculous in almost every way, and that's what I love about this movie. And Dash said it best early on. It's really a love letter to all those things of all these eras: 70s, 80s, 90s, and aughts. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I don't want a movie that's not like this when it's my
So you don't
action
think
movie.
that's a Grumman?
Oh, it is. No, it is.
albatross?
I was just gonna say that's a Grumman HU-16.
I thought it
albatross.
was, but no,
Yeah, it
I'm,
is,
I'm
yeah.
no expert. I just
No,
I
definitely.
Oh,
see this
yeah.
movie as like a love letter
Didn't.
to
All right,
Canada.
you. I'm looking at it right now, and I'm just going. The body didn't look that big, but and it only
Could be
has
more
two
than-
floats
more.
in the picture I'm seeing.
could be
Tell
more.
me
If that had
more.
more.
Could be
Oh,
me
tell me
more.
more. Yeah, well, no. It's
me
now
more
we're
about
getting
the
into
big
now we're
body.
getting into absolute arcane shit here. Yeah, it
I'm looking at-
probably is, but you
I'm
know,
looking at the internet, so it has to be true.
Well, you know, no, I know. I'm looking at albatross, going, it doesn't look that wide, and the body doesn't
Oh.
look big enough.
Whoa.
Apparently
The
there was one
albatross
of
looked
the-
like it had 3 floors in it.
Apparently they used one in the Dark Knight. Oh, I don't remember.
Man.
Look at
He
it. up.
totally
It's
got
right
on that
there.
on the top of the plane just to have his head peeking
Yes.
out. I was like, dude, he totally did just
So
so he
this
can
was,
say I'm on top
I
of
don't
the plane.
care. And you know what? I don't care if this airplane never had this feature. I don't care if they customized it. This was one of the coolest fucking things
Oh, yeah.
in
Yeah.
this movie at this point.
Oh, the
I'm
bad
like,
guys didn't see this coming.
Fire the
It was,
gun!
they didn't see it coming from that cockpit. No siree.
That's a
Why?
lot.
dude?
Whose cockpit? Sorry, who had a cockpit?
Jason Statham had a cockpit.
Apparently, he was in the
Nose
cockpit.
gun.
And I just said he
Well-
wasn't gay.
Apparently,
Like,
hang
I'm
on.
not just gay unless you like make eye contact while there's the blowjob. Blowjob's not that gay.
Hang on. Apparently, there was an albatross used in the film Hail Caesar. So there's a bit of a meta tie-in for you. Hail
There you
Caesar.
go.
Oh.
That 50 caliber just rips everyone to shreds. It's like,
I know.
you know, some movies, like, you know, it's like the A-Team, which I love, you know, whatever gets shot. And this
Right.
plane actually reminded me of something the A-Team would use. And
Yeah.
they just, you know, release the, you know, hellfire on these guys. And
Release the
Dump some
Kraken.
fuel.
Yeah,
Like-
they dump the auxiliary fuel, and then he fires a flare, and I'm like,
Oh, it's
oh,
beautiful.
this will be good.
The only people that could survive that are women in Star Wars.
Right.
for sure.
Only if it's Jennifer Garner. Jennifer, what's her fucking name? Who
Lawrence.
cares?
Lawrence. Jennifer
Jennifer
Lawrence.
Lawrence.
Yeah. Jennifer Lawrence. No, Jennifer Lawrence created explosion. She created the first ever explosion ever. Seriously, like
Yeah.
there's no one who is.
She invented
top for
TNT. She
explosion.
invented dynamite. Yeah.
Jennifer
And the
Lawrence
So,
was
Beach
in
Fries for
the
Dynamite.
first Expendables.
Yeah, she got the first
She-
Nobel
she-
Prize for
before this one.
Yeah.
Guys,
She invented
He's
both
in the film
TNT
before it
and
fades in.
dynamite.
Yeah.
That's a good shot of Newsom there.
which actor who's been offered to do every movie, at least 1 through 3, and has said no to all 3?
Oh.
Which actor has been offered all 3
It
movies?
can't be
prior
Steven
before?
Seagal because we all know he needs pizza money.
And it's not
He
Woody
has
Allen.
actually been offered all 3 times, and he will not
Thank
do it.
God
all
he
3
turned it
times.
down because I
Oh, he
fucking
turned it down?
hate him. Yes.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, angry gamer.
Well,
news.
I was gonna say I don't know if you guys got into some of the other trivia or not, but do you know who else was supposed to be in the movie or no?
Talk about Kurt Russell. He was supposed
Yeah.
to be Church. We did talk about that. I
But he
hope
turned
he
it
comes
down.
back for a 5th movie. They need him
Well-
for a 5th movie, and they need to get
Wasn't there going
Keanu
to
Reeves
be?
and Denzel Washington.
Isn't 4
in
the
for-
start of another trilogy? So there's
Yeah,
going to be
it's the perfect
6.
time.
There's going to be
Oh,
6. in
yeah.
total.
If it
But,
leads into another trilogy, that'd be great. I can always go for more
know-
Expendables movies.
Yeah,
All right,
exactly.
what, Tom?
I have
was-
to say, if they bring Kurt Russell in, they need Sam. Well, I don't know about Sam Neill. He's not been in action movies, but
Oh yeah,
they
Sam Neill's too
need,
old. Like it was
Yes.
such a hard work to get him into Jurassic World 3. I mean, like that's probably like the last big movie he's ever going to be in, possibly.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
You're
Tom.
talking
No,
about
I'm thinking,
Russell,
who was the actor? Who was the tour guide to the stars in Escape from L.A.?
Steve
Ernest
Buscemi.
Borgnine? No.
Steve
Buscemi.
Buscemi.
You know what?
think
Steve
Buscemi.
Buscemi playing
Should be a bad
an
guy.
off,
Said it.
an off character and a bad guy in one of these movies, given that he was in Escape from L.A., would be perfect.
I could see
I
that.
And he was
Steve
also in
Buscemi would
Con
make a
Air,
great
for
villain.
crying out loud.
Yeah, he was in
Yeah.
Con
We
Air.
haven't had Nicolas Cage in any of these yet either.
Dude, Nicolas Cage should be a villain. Straight
Yeah,
up villain.
But I guess
Yeah.
there was characters that were cut, but were approached for the role, and that they were cut afterwards. Were like Robert Nepper and Alan Tudyk were going to play a character, but that didn't happen.
Jack
There
Nicholson
was
approached for the 5th. I'm sorry, for the
Fuck
4th
Jack Black.
one.
there was
Jack
originally
Black
a role.
rarely does serious movies. Like the only like serious movie I've ever seen like Jack Black in was Peter Jackson's Kong.
Hmm.
All right, Tom, go
Yeah,
ahead, complete
yeah.
your thought.
There was also a role written originally for Dennis Leary to appear, but he couldn't do it because of Rescue Me.
Hmm.
And then there was another character written for Danny Trejo that also didn't appear, but it was scrapped because of time and budget. So,
Oh, that would have been awesome.
Wesley
Okay.
Snipes. Have we had Wesley Snipes?
He was
he
in the
one
third
of
one. He was in
He's
the
in the
third
the
third
one.
third one?
one.
Yeah, I thought that's the one I don't like very much. So, not
I
that
like
keen on that.
Wesley.
He was okay,
It's a
but-
shame. No, the movie wasn't so great, but he deserved a better opportunity. Danny Glover and Deer said it earlier. Carl Weathers. I apparently Stallone.
yeah, I
hasn't
can't believe
had
Carl
one yet,
Weathers hasn't been in one yet.
Hmm.
Well, he was
apparently
fighting with
Stallone
Stallone.
wants him. Apparently, he wants him for a 5th movie. So should the 4th
I
one
mean,
be
yeah,
okay?
like that'd be a great reunion for the
Well,
two.
you
Yes.
remember when Stallone redid Rocky 5 or 4, and
Yeah.
Weathers wouldn't allow him to use any of the footage. He had a big, he was pissed off about not getting paid enough money or showing the clips. So,
Oh, that's
there's
unfortunate.
there's a feud going on there between those two. So Weathers
Yeah,
was mad he
I
didn't
don't
get,
know
get
Oh,
enough
my-
money.
Even with the feuds, let's keep this in mind. Stallone seems to be a very, I guess you could say, forgiving type of guy. He still tries to, because let's not forget, he still offered Seagal, which for all intents and purposes and opinions, he still gives people a chance. And he always says too, if there's people who he's either had issues with or they had their own issues themselves, he tries to give people a second chance.
Unless
I don't
they're
think
Bruce
he would
Willis.
rule it out. I don't think you're. I know what happened with Bruce Willis because he wanted more money for the same amount of time.
He wanted $1
and
million
that's why
for like a 2-minute cameo in part 3.
Yeah,
And Sylvester Stallone called him greedy and lazy.
yeah. So then he got replaced about a day later, or Harrison Ford, something like that. Which I laughed.
Well, which is
about.
dumb
Like,
because his character was an add-on in the original film anyway. He's barely in it, and he doesn't really get a resolution in the first film because it was such a afterthought. It was shot after the film was done because they still didn't have the role filled yet.
Take care, Tuna Guy, and thanks for being here. I got a quick direct donation I want to address from the great
you,
Rob Altus. How's it going, Rob? Let's get our great patriarchy clip going.
Shit, you guys aren't even that far into the movie.
And Rob Altus with a holy $10 says, "Happy birthday, Nick. Love your channel and the great panels you bring. Wish I could contribute more. Thanks for all the entertainment. I feel like I'm among friends here, and that's because you are among friends here. Dude, never worry about contributing more. Just hang
Except
out.
for Brian, don't
and-
let him behind you.
No, we don't. Yeah, we'll forget about that. We'll forget
You
about that British rock
bastard.
fan. But
You
we just love having you here, man. Super chats, direct donos, that's all secondary stuff. You do that when you want to and when you can. As long as you hang out when you can, that's all that matters. Thanks for your direct donos, sir. But I love this thing because obviously, even though it was his not girlfriend who made the move, it was still a good excuse to watch him beat the crap out of guys because the guy freaking obviously leveled her. And
Thought you guys
he
were
beat
way
the
past
shit out of
this
him
already.
good. Well, it was going really slow earlier. I think Mark, is it starting to speed back up?
Oh
now?
yeah, no, it's the 3 sec. Yeah, it's 3
It's,
seconds.
it'll,
now, yeah.
It will now get faster and faster until it reaches
Till it actually starts to look
Climax.
like a movie.
the climax of the movie.
No, you keep going a little bit faster, it'll actually move like a movie.
Yeah.
Now, did you guys discuss the director's cut at all?
A little
No.
bit. We talked about the Randy Couture scene, and we talked about the Gunner scene where he went on babbling and they shot the shit out of the guy from earlier. So I went on about some scenes, but I'll let you have it with stuff that.
Well, there really, yeah, it was one of those things where it's just some more character moments, some
Yeah.
recut scenes,
Yeah.
just some minor things. It wasn't anything to really write home about. But I was joking with you guys earlier, like, which one are we watching? Because the director's cut is
Oh.
technically Stallone's preferred
Yeah,
version, but
how
it's only been
freaked out-
available once.
How freaked out do you
So-
think she was when he takes out the knife?
Well, I mean, I would expect that she probably thought he was actually going to kill him. I mean, I think our man here thought he was going to get killed by
That guy's balls were
Christmas.
deflated. He's like, "Oh shit, I'm about to die."
He's like,
I need
next
another
time, I'll
blue
deflate
pill."
all your balls, friend.
Now you know what I do for a living. Right?
Yes.
Oh, perfect.
Dying ain't much of a living. bud.
That's like, yeah. This is just such a, oh, I'm a hard guy. What do you want? And I'm like, this is why you don't get into arguments with people in public, because they might be Jason Statham.
Did you see the guy that got killed at the Patriots game the other night? Or hear about that? A fan, they got a fight.
really?
And the guy died. Yeah, they got a fight, and allegedly, and I'm sure. I think he was kind of belligerent and maybe started. I don't want to, misquote anything, but not that it matters in the end. But you get in a fight, and he hit his head, and he was gone. Yeah, so. Yeah, if I ever see Jason Statham, and I'm not gonna say, "Oh, you're just a Hollywood guy." I'm not gonna mess with him, right? I mean, you never know, right? There's always someone bigger, faster, stronger out there, no matter how
Right.
big your ego is, right? So,
I can't stand his fighting in the movie. What is that? Death Race 2000? Because they sped up every fucking punch.
oh, the new one you're talking, not
That
the
movie
Yeah,
is
the
a
latest.
waste of
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
not the
Which is
classic.
only
funny
good
because
thing about
Sly
that-
was in the original.
I actually like both versions. Like, I just see them as two different movies and two different franchises.
The best thing about Death Race 2000 is Ian McShane.
Yes.
Thought Stallone was like really cool in Death Race 2000.
Oh,
Yeah, the original.
That's what I just said. Yeah.
Yeah, he was. But
We really
that's a cult
do.
movie.
We
That's
need
cool.
Sam Elliott
So,
in one of these
I
movies.
think we have William Shatner here. What does William Shatner have to say
Oh
about
wow,
I
Villain
think I'd make
Shatner,
a
are you
great
around
villain,
here?
but
Mr.
Lord
Shatner.
knows I'd make a much better hero. I mean,
Well, what would you do as a hero, Mr. Shatner?
well, I think I could keep up with Sly and the boys. I don't see why not.
Okay. Well,
Pretty
thank you,
spry in
Jairus,
my
for your
age.
$2. Yeah, see, you not only did you get to have a response, but you got a response from the chat for that. So William Shatner is a villain Expendables. There you go. Thank you, Jairus, for the $2.
Priceline.com.
Yeah. Okay, so far we've had Jean-Claude Van Damme and Mel Gibson as Expendables villains. Like, so yeah, I could see William Shatner as an Expendables villain, but he'd have to play more of like a Bond villain for his age.
I see.
Well, he
Bruce
played-
is showing.
He
doesn't much acting.
he
anymore.
played a very effective villain in the TV series Haven, where you weren't sure whether he was good or bad, and he was very, very personable, and you were like, he's not a bad guy, except he is a bad guy. So he played a great villain in that TV series, where he is the person behind all of the weird shit going on. And I think in this, he could be exactly that, where none of the characters quite can figure out which side he's on.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that'd be awesome for him to play. And yes, in the end, he should turn out to be a Bond villain. But you shouldn't be able to tell that until the end of the movie, which would be amazing.
And we got Parrot Head here for $2. And you know what? I'm going to get the panel to do it. I want to see how many of the chat we can get to do it. 3, 2, 1, and huge. Thank you, Parrot Head. Oh, that was perfect. Thanks, guys. Oh, I would love walking as a villain. I would love that.
Oh, yeah.
I would.
Rest
Yeah.
in peace, Cardinal Sin. You did a great.
Oh, dude,
Christopher
the
Walken.
comments are going nuts. Hell yeah. That's what's up, guys. Thank you.
Yes.
Huge. Oh, you guys are awesome.
There
Thank
was a
you.
huge. It's gigantic. Gigantic.
Oh man, that was good. Oh, this is the part where they had that great conversation about him being short. I'm small.
Yes.
Like this conversation out of context would have been really, really bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's actually perfect for Jet Li, because it's like, no, I have to work harder than the rest.
I love this bit. Yeah, this is
I
my
love
favorite.
this.
I'm much smaller, so I have to walk faster and harder and farther.
Yeah.
You know why
When I
that is?
travel, I need
'Cause
to
you're
go farther.
smaller. That's right.
Why do
this
I
kinda
go
fits
back?
Matt right here.
Why I
Who've
hold
been
the back?
labeled with small penis. I bet you 50%.
It's the vagina, isn't it?
And it's the big vagina.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that they put Jet Li in this movie with all of these Western action heroes,
'cause he's Jet
and
Li.
you get Jet Li, the probably second only to Bruce Lee, the ultimate kung fu movie fighter,
He
action
needs
movie
money for
fighter.
his family.
Yeah,
Love
and he brought
family.
and they put him in here, and he's like, I have trouble competing with these people. I'm smaller. Then you're just I'm just laughing my ass off, because I'm like, this guy could wreck
I
anybody.
do twice as much work.
Yeah.
Why do I go in the back of the car? Because you're smaller.
Yes, exactly.
That's the payoff.
Oh, so good.
I need more money for my
So-
family. You ain't got no family. What family?
And
My
let's
family.
fill in a gap here, because I think from now that the scenes have kind of gotten to Spady, Gunner went to not Newsome to try to see if he could do a job for him to get back at Barney Ross and the crew, and that's where Gunner comes.
Oh, I don't
here
think he
working
ever
with
meant
the
to really
guys.
get back at him. I think he knew what he was doing the whole time.
You think so?
I think he did this on
I
purpose
really
to
thought he
get
turned
back
his
in.
back on them.
No, I think he did this whole thing to get back in Barney's good graces, because he knew that if he sabotaged these guys, and remember he whispers to him at the end. I think he's telling him
You
the
don't know what he
whole
says, right?
fucking thing. And then he comes back, so he's there, and they don't really explain it. There is like 1 or 2 extra scenes in the director's cut, because like Barney does, he stows away on the plane, is how he got there.
Because in the next two movies, he's fine. Like, that he doesn't like have any rebellious thing going on. He's a team player, but like in this movie, they set him up as like a villain, a traitor.
No, and that's the whole thing, is it's set up in the scene where he goes, I can't trust you no more. He's like, you can't trust me. And he's like, watch your back. And he's like, is that a threat? And he's like, no, and then he closes the door. Well, that was because it's the whole thing is, yeah. And I mean, in the original script, he was just meant to be a bad guy and die, but they liked him so much. And of course, if there was a chance that they were going to do a sequel, Sly wanted to make sure he could come back. So
that was a brilliant move.
They turned him into a double agent in order to redeem him.
Yes, and this scene to me kind of
back.
really proves that, because if you watch, because remember the other guy keeps yelling at him for fucking up the other cars, and he's like, "You do that again, and I'll kill you myself." He's like, "Shut up, cockroach!" and he crunches his fucking face.
You're right. He did. Yeah, he did wail on it, and you see a foot mark on the guy's face too.
I thought that was just because he was insane.
Yeah, I thought that. That's what I thought.
Well, then my interpretation this time out, and it was kind of that way originally, but I was really kind of watching it, and I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure he planned this from the start. Like that was his way to get back his trust from Sly.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, I think the you're a user, which was the reason for cutting him loose, was the excuse and his cover. That was
I don't know if I go that far necessarily. I think it was just more so he disappointed Barney. He knows he let him down. So his way to make it up to him was to go in, find out who these guys were, and he gave him all the info he needed to know right before he left. Because remember, they get in that big fight right here about to see. And here's the bug scene here. It could be that. It could be.
Look at the footprint on his face. There.
But the only problem with that logic, though, is that he would have had to already have known about this job way before. Because when they figure out that the CIA and the FBI and all that shit are, because like that's the only part that doesn't make sense. But it makes sense to me that when he realizes, oh, Barney don't trust me no more. Well, this is a way I can get back in his good graces by figuring out what's going on for him. And
Dude, that mark on the guy's face was so like that's the thing. I can't even believe that in real life, because can you imagine a foot to the face from Dolph Lundgren? He probably died from that.
That would ruin your whole day.
And I'm sorry, this fight coming up here is definitely in the top 10 fights of all times in cinema.
Oh, dude, it's cool.
Him and Jet Li,
little man versus the big man. It's a David and Goliath fight. I love this fight. Love this fight. It makes you really believe too, like a Jet Li could actually take down like an immovable object like Dolph Lundgren. It was so cool to see.
When people forget how that he's a black belt too.
Yeah,
right? And you see him
a
move in
genius.
this movie. Yeah.
And this was actually his first movie and released to theaters since Johnny Mnemonic. How do you say mnemonic?
Right. That was like
mnemonic.
94?
Mnemonic, thank you.
94 or
95, yeah.
95,
yeah. I'm reading it, yeah. But so he hadn't had and people, he's a great I should say great actor, but he's a great presence, and I mean he's done some great stuff. I mean, he's not Laurence Olivier, but the guy's a genius too.
Career. That was
thing. Unfortunately,
Toxic Man flew for $20. What's up, Tox? Says Nick Weiser flavor number 32. J-Lo's birthday cake surprise. That's one cream filling you want to stay over.
The cream filling is Ben Affleck flavored.
Oh, I think that deserves this clip.
You guys aren't going to start sucking each other's dicks, are you?
You have the biggest dick I've ever seen on a man.
Like, I don't know if it's gay unless you like make eye contact while there's a blowjob.
Let's get down to business.
I guess the blowjob line was a improvised line by Willis, but Stallone decided to leave it in anyway.
Thank you, Tox, for that $20. Very, very awesome, dude. Thank you.
Yolanda, that's another great movie reference.
Jet
Li moves so fast that he has to slow down. Did you guys know this?
Yes, I did.
This is a true story. In fact, Richard Donner kept yelling at him during the making of Lethal Weapon 4. He's like, "We can't see what you're doing."
Yeah. Yes. I couldn't see what he was doing.
He's like, he was going physically so fast the camera couldn't catch the action, so we had to make him do it slower so he could actually see the move.
And that scene with when he just takes the Glock apart and takes it away. It's like, oh my god, how scary was that?
Well, then there's that other scene where he like jumps down from the stairs, does like a back kick to the dude's face, flips him around, and does all this shit. And like they show it originally, he does it so fast that you couldn't even see what the hell happened. And like, yeah, you got to slow it down a little bit.
Yeah, and 24 frames a second is too slow.
Oh,
You
and,
can't catch you. Yeah.
and I don't know if anybody else here has seen this movie, but when he plays Danny the dog, that's the original name of it, but in the US it's
Unleashed.
called Unleashed. One of the greatest fucking movies, I tell you, and he is so great in it too.
Well, I
We should
want to do that one
of
for
these
Toxic.
days. Yeah.
I was actually I want to do a Jet Li month down the line. I want
Yes.
to do a Jet Li because he totally deserves a Jet Li month. He totally does.
Well,
There
that's
needs-
definitely
there
my
needs to be a
favorite
Jet
one of
Li
his
month.
is
Well,
Unleashed. Yeah.
Oh,
My-
Unleashed is so good.
The only Jet Li movie besides like the Expendables movies I can really think of is War, and I don't think people really remember that movie.
See, because here we go. He's like, "Who hired you?" and stuff like that, and then, and he says like, "Oh, he thinks he's gonna die," but he's like, "Come closer," and you see him whispering in his ear, and then of course we see him at the end. He's all healed
Yes.
up. So clearly, Sly took him to a doctor, maybe not a real doctor, but a doctor, one of their doctors.
But a doctor.
Night
Real
nurse.
doctor.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep,
So
night
you're
nurse.
playing a doctor.
Oh wait, Jason Statham was in War too. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's the other half of War.
Yep. God, see, we're gonna have another 300
Terry
episodes on Toxic
Crews.
Tuesday, dude. This is the movie where I say Terry Crews has so much sweat that his sweat has sweat.
Oh man,
What?
Terry Crews holding that big gun, talking about how beautiful it is, like almost stroking it.
Now, what's cool or
Remember-
weird here, I wouldn't say cool, but weird is I realized watching this time around, they're basically going to the same area that Tim Ballard goes to in
Sound of
Sound of
Freedom.
Freedom.
Yeah.
Sound of Freedom,
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Fortunately, he was
No.
in the news today or last few days. For
Yeah,
some
I
I
don't
know.
buy any of
Yeah.
that bullshit. Not to
I
drag
know,
down
I'm
this
just-
stream, but like,
No, I'm just
come
saying.
on,
I don't buy it
Dude is
either.
such- I just got to say this about it. Dude is such a goody two shoes. He don't even know how to send a dick pic right. If you read the accusations, none
yeah?
of it is like, it's really like, even if it's true, let's just take it at face fucking value. All it tells us about him is he's such a goody two shoes. He don't know how to hit on a woman, and he don't even know how to send a dick pic because all he did was send himself in his underwear, evidently.
Yeah, and Russell Brand's getting attacked now too.
Man,
and it's
yeah,
not
that's-
serious for
That's a
that,
little bit
but
more
yeah.
Totally
dicier.
not
but, like,
coordinated.
yeah.
But
Oh man,
all right,
I just
let's
love
get
how
into our
All right.
great scene here with Terry Crews because he has a very shiny moment with a sharp object in his hand that's not his.
And he's president. Give him respect.
Yeah.
And his name's Hail Caesar. His name's Hail Caesar.
Macho Mountain Dew.
You know what? I
Warhead.
trust you. I want you to meet my girlfriend and Amya Kaboo. I'm like, what kind of name is that? When Amya's prime is struck, she gets off a miniature warhead that arms itself. And when that happens, anything that gets in my lady's way becomes instant red sauce and jello. And if that doesn't work, her sister will. He shows off the blade.
That's great
But seriously,
stuff.
watch the scenes where he's running with the giant gun and see him sweating. He alone sweats more in these scenes than the entire arm wrestling room does in Over the Top, where you see all those dudes at that bar all sweating watching the fight. It's like I feel like I'm losing weight watching Terry Crews sweat in this movie.
He sweats like crazy, Terry Crews. Yeah.
We call it glossy. He just gets super glossy.
Super glossy. Yeah. Super gloss.
Oh, but no, his scene, his presence, in the movie, Small is very effective because he kills the shit out of some dudes in this movie. You can tell he has a load of fun while doing it too.
There's a god of thunder in his film.
There's told Steve Austin.
There is no neck there, is there? That's right.
Oh, he's all neck.
He's
like the opposite of most bodybuilders. Like you can't find the neck. He's all neck. He's just like,
Yeah, that thing looks like it's made of steel.
and this is where we learned he can't act, and this is why he never had a career.
Right.
I love Steve Austin.
All he can do is play Steve Austin, and that's about it.
Well,
everyone's playing themselves
wait a
in
minute.
this movie anyway.
To a point, you're not wrong.
Yeah,
But
I mean, it worked for Sean. Look, it worked for Sean Connery for what, 50 years?
no. But I mean, look at like after like the first big wave of the Vince McMahon wrestlers. Hulk Hogan was the top earner, top star that come out of that, and you had Roddy McDowell, Jesus Christ, Roddy Piper,
Roddy
McDowell
McDowell versus Roddy
Piper
was a
guys go
terrible
out
wrestler.
and they were good actors and whatnot. you had that era go through. Okay, fine. And then the next era comes in, and like Bautista and some of these other guys are acting circles around the guy. Like I thought for sure Steve Austin would be like a lead action star. Now, The Rock, of course, was the one who I didn't expect to be the big star, but I can see because of the looks. But yeah.
I hate Dwayne Johnson.
I hope he never winds up in one of these movies.
You just asked for this clip. Where is it? Great.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
Bubblegum.
And I'm all out of bubblegum.
For some reason, I just don't think. I just don't.
And
think
then he went to Frogtown.
I just don't think The Rock's Expendables material. For some reason,
No.
Here's the
I
thing.
don't
I
either.
loved him. I loved him in WWF. I still do. I loved a lot of his matches, but he does not have it for the silver screen.
No.
He's good with an ensemble cast for comedy and on Disney shows, when Disney had good kids shows, but he's not made for these types of movies. And I wish he was. I hate saying that because I really wanted him to like have it. And I thought he would when I saw him in The Rundown with Sean William Scott, which I thought was pretty good. But other than that, there's not really anything else action-wise he's really carried that you can say, hey, this is my franchise. It's everything. He's part of an ensemble cast or an established thing. Hey, and once again, I don't take pride in saying that. I came up as a big fan of The Rock in the WWF Attitude Era. I was a big fan, like Steve Austin before him, like The Undertaker, Kurt Angle, all the greats. I hate saying that, but it's true. It's unfortunate.
And of course, I didn't mention John Cena. He's probably the next one after The Rock, probably. Yeah.
Yep.
But no, like, yeah, I mean,
John Cena. I could see John Cena in the Expendables.
Yeah, he could fit, but I just don't like him anymore.
You want to unsee him.
Yeah,
you gotta
kind of bullshit.
Yeah, you gotta put Rob Van Dam in a fifth movie. That way he can be face to face with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Oh man,
Rob Van Dam, what a great wrestler! My God, he is amazing.
Oh, dude, Rob Van Dam was incredible.
He was one of the best. Yeah,
5-star Frog Splash, the whole damn show. Oh,
that
man.
ECW wrestling was amazing to watch. I couldn't believe it.
ECW. Oh man.
I don't disagree with you, dearest, but by pure box office, it goes like The Rock, Bautista, John Cena. I'm guessing here, but I'm almost positive this is how it goes. And Bautista clearly just because of the 3 Guardians of the Galaxy films alone. But The Rock, just by pure amount of movies he's been in, and he's not really made any flops. He's made films that haven't quite made money, but he hasn't had any that completely out and out bombed.
What about Rampage?
No, that still did all right. It didn't do great. I was just gonna say the only one that probably out and out failed is one of his ensemble films, which is usually his bread and butter, and that would be G.I. Joe 2.
That's terrible because that should have been a good movie.
Yeah, once again, and he did another one where he did that remake of Walking Tall where he wouldn't be Buford Pusser. Come on, just be Buford Pusser already.
It's an all right remake, but it's like
okay.
The Kevin
Rundown
Sorbo
was way better, and the Rundown was an original idea. That's the shame part. And that underperformed. I remember
that did, and it was very popular on video. Oh my god, that came out when I worked in a store. Holy shit, it was always it was one of those very very popular videos. Yeah. Well, The Rock was always popular when his films would hit video. That's for sure. But
I bet
he's making the big bucks.
Done better in the box office between that and the DVD sales, they probably would have had an actual follow up to it. That could have been his franchise, but people didn't.
His Pacifier one was a huge one on video too.
Yep, I remember hearing about Pacifier. That's true. Oh yeah, I forgot about Triple H and Blade Trinity, and then you have Kevin Nash who was in Ninja Turtles. He was also
in a lot of shit.
Yeah, Big Daddy Cool Diesel, and then of course Stone Cold and Goldberg were both in the not great Longest Yard remake.
And I think half those guys were in the Universal Soldier sequel as well.
I'm trying to think what other guys. Kane? No, Kane wasn't. He only did that one horror film when WWF was trying to do a studio and actually that was interesting enough. The one film he did, I think it was called Sinoiville. That was directed by the Saska sisters, who obviously are writing Yaira #1 for Rippaverse Comics. And I remember hearing them say that. They said Kane was a lot of fun to work with. They said they remember seeing Kane throw giant, heavy-ass chains around like it's no big deal. Like, whoa.
Are we ever going to do Suburban Commando?
I was just gonna
Yes.
say. I was just
Yes.
gonna mention. Don't forget
Yes.
Hulk Hogan and Suburban Commando.
Do you guys realize
One of the
that was
greatest
meant?
movies ever?
Do you guys know the history of that movie or no?
No.
No,
it's-
actually, I don't.
It was
laughing
written
at-
as okay. So when Schwarzenegger decided he was going to do comedy, he had tapped Ivan Reitman. So Ivan Reitman had like 3 or 4 scripts drafted up for him to choose from, and they knew he was going to do a pair up with Danny DeVito. Pause that. That almost looks like he was kneeling on the screen,
right? That's
like a glamour shot of Stallone there.
Which one was it? Nope. Did I go back to it? Far?
Like a class picture. Oh, now you can't find it. Oh shit. Oh well.
Where'd it
It
go?
worked out perfectly though.
Go back.
Go back more.
Just looked like he was leaning on the edge of the screen. There you go. There it went. Oh shit.
Oh, that-
You just passed it.
That
That
Jet
one?
Li.
No, keep going. Keep going.
Yeah,
Keep
Jet-
going. Keep
Jet Li
going.
kicked him in the balls.
No. I think you went the wrong way now.
Going
Never
the wrong
mind.
way.
It was when Sly was right on screen and his arms lined up
Yeah,
perfectly.
I
with the one-
remember
There
when
it
I
is.
was doing my.
You just
when I
went
was-
past it again. You keep going past it like super fast. There you go.
When I was doing my rewatch of this movie to prep, I had to rewatch this scene like a couple times just to understand what exactly was happening.
Now take down the thing, and yeah, it looks like he's like rapping or something.
I like how Stone Cold, he's like,
Sorry.
your mother. I was just like, wow, he really just said your mother as a response.
What's even more surprising is how Sly let Stone Cold kick his ass in this bit.
Yeah.
I couldn't
You know what?
believe
I
that.
respect
Well, he even says it. What are you doing? I'm getting my ass kicked.
Yeah, I you know what? That to me, that was a callback to Rocky.
Kind of, I guess.
I mentioned that earlier. That to me was
Mention it
Sly
again.
giving a callback to Rocky where he got his ass kicked in the boxing ring, and he's like, "I just got my ass kicked," and I thought it was hysterical.
Well, at least
And then
I mean,
then he comes
let it
back and he's
happen.
like, "No, not this time."
Well, what's
I thought
funny
it
is in
was a-
real life, they're still making Sly probably look a lot bigger than he is. Because in real life, there's no way you put you put Steve Austin up against Sylvester Stallone, little 5'9" actor.
Not even
yeah,
that.
he'd dwarf his
No,
ass.
he's more like 5'6".
Yeah, I've heard in
That was
reality
my
he's like
height.
between 5'8" and 9, somewhere in there. But yeah, I
He's like
believe
Dick's division sized, okay? Stallone is like a shorty.
Yeah, but
Yeah, he
he's
is.
still yoked.
But he's in
still
great.
yoked.
You got to give him. I mean, he's in
He's-
great shape.
well, wait a
in this
minute.
movie, though, for his
He's
age.
in great
Drugs are
shape.
really good for him.
How old is he in
He's
this
in-
movie?
Well, like that's the other thing is like Lundgren, doesn't he tower over him? Because Lundgren's
Oh,
like
yeah.
Does.
He
Lundgren
did in
was a
Rocky. What was it,
giant.
4 or 5?
Yeah,
But the
Four,
point
yeah.
is, when they made the first Rocky film, they had to look far and wide to find a guy who looked like a heavyweight boxer, but who wouldn't tower over Sylvester Stallone, which is how they got his opponent. Because
So what
he's-
you're saying
he's
is Carl
basically-
Weathers isn't very tall.
No, exactly. Carl Weathers and Sylvester Stallone look like big guys if you stood them
Exactly, yeah.
next to each other.
When you
But
really
then
get to
you put-
see it with Hulk
Yeah.
Hogan in the third one, when he lifts
Yeah.
like he is, just looks like a little kid compared to
Underlift.
Hulk Hogan.
Yes. Well, you look at Arnold
Oh.
Schwarzenegger next to Wilt Chamberlain and whoever else it was in the second
Right,
Yeah,
it's a
it's a
Sean
Conan
Conan
movie.
film. Yeah,
Speaking
Then
of Stallone and
Stallone.
Hogan, Stallone said that when he felt the leg drop from Hogan, he said that was very real. And he said it hurt his face very badly. He said, "Do not underestimate how that leg drops on your face feels." He said it hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Son of
well,
a
none
bitch.
of that stuff was anything I would say is you're gonna come away from unscathed, and that's what I mean, that was where our era where it became dangerous for kids. Because
Yes.
they still tried to. First of all, you had the problem of it was like a twofold problem. When it first happened, they tried to continue to keep this image that the shit was real, right?
Yeah, they
Like
did
even
for a
though
long time.
even though most people for the most part knew it wasn't, they really tried to keep up that image, especially for kids. So at first it wasn't a problem, but then when kids started realizing, oh, it's not real, that gave them the false impression that you could do this shit and get away with it and nobody's going to get hurt. Right? Because their parents
Yeah.
would be like, oh no, those are professionals and they know what they're doing. Well, yeah, then you could do a suplex on your fucking sister. Of course, you're gonna break her fucking neck. You know what I mean?
Well, they
Like,
did. Okay, to this point, Tom, you know, cartoon violence never kids never tried to replicate cartoon violence because they recognized that it was a cartoon.
Yeah.
The Three Stooges. My first wife was hit on the head with a hammer by her
that
cousin.
is true. There was this time period where the Three Stooges, they had the resurgence in the, what was it, the 50s when they brought the show back on television.
Yeah.
Like they had this like tons and tons of kids that were going to the ER because of kids reenacting the Three Stooges. So that's where I always say, look, does violence make people violent on television? Not necessarily, but that doesn't count when it comes to children. Children
kids are
don't
very-
necessarily understand the difference between reality.
raise your hand in the chat.
No,
and
no,
wait,
no,
I
no,
gotta say
no, no,
something.
no.
Raise your-
Hold it. No, I got to say this.
Oh, okay,
there was
go
a study done. Children as young as 5 understood that cartoon violence was cartoon, violence, not
yes.
real. But when the Three Stooges when one of them would whack the other on the head with a hammer, and the guy would go, "Ow," and
Exactly.
then be fine. Well, that was real life. So they would be
That's
like,
what I
well, I
mean,
could
yeah.
take a hammer and rap my cousin on the head with a hammer, and she'll be go, "Ow," and she'll be fine. And it wasn't true.
Superman had a problem too with kids.
Well, that's what I was just gonna
jumping
say.
out of
Raise your
things.
hand if you've ever put a towel on.
I
and
broke
jumped
my
off the
nose.
couch. Yeah, I did.
This
that.
is how I got the lesson at like
Oh, the
4 and
other
a half
thing that-
years old.
The other problem was, anyone remember Underdog? And he would take
Yes!
a pill. There was a pill in his ring, and my mom caught me when I was like a 4-year-old going to try to, I think it was just Flintstone.
Well, that was a
vitamins or- but, like,
poor idea
drink-
from the start.
Eat
Yeah.
all the pills. I'm like, well, I need pills to be like Underdog, Mom. And she's like, no, don't ever do that.
Look,
So,
and I'm
yeah.
not saying that everything needs to be sanitized, but like when you get to children under 6, you do need to closely monitor what it is they're intaking and how they intake it.
Oh, of
'Cause that's
course.
my story of how I
If
even
it's-
got into this. Is I
Right.
got scared shitless as a kid by gremlins, and my mom couldn't get me to sleep at night, so she didn't know what the fuck to do. So she took me to the library and she tried to find a movie, like a book on the making of the movie Gremlins. Couldn't find that, but she found a book, this very book right here that I keep near me all the time, that some fan just happened to send to me, and I don't think they realized was the book that I got out of the library. But it was because of this book right here
Oh, sorry.
that got me into movies and stuff, and I realized, oh, movies aren't real. Because before that, to me, Superman was fucking real.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
I
didn't know it
to
wasn't
that-
real.
To that end, Tom, in 1968, in June of 1968, I was watching television one night, and all of a sudden this program came on. My mom was upstairs in the split level in the kitchen, about 6 stairs up, and I start seeing this thing, and it turns out it's a show called The Prisoner. And I'm 5.
Oh.
And I watched it to the point where the weather balloon, the thing that's keeps people in the village, runs
Yeah.
over a guy, and he's seen
Yeah.
screaming into the plastic or the rubber, and then it rolls away and he's gone. And about that point where
Oh, no.
it roared, I don't know, it was called Fido or Rover, so forgive me. It's been
You
a
got
long
Rover,
time.
the Rover.
Rover
You got
roared,
yeah.
rolled over the guy. My mother heard it from the kitchen and was like, "What is he watching?" He comes down the stairs into the den in the split level when I'm 5 years old and runs across the room, shuts off the television, and
Guys.
says, "You're not allowed to watch that." I got nightmares. I had
It's
nightmares.
Gary Cruz with a big gun in his head. Remember this shit at Christmas?
Dude, remember this shit at Christmas.
I laughed so hard at that line. Remember this shit at Christmas.
He gets a good bit in the
Yep.
beginning of the second one too, when Schwarzenegger wants a big gun. He's like, "Give me yours, the big one." He's like, "No, it's mine." He's like, "Come on, you always bring a spare." And it's just the look he gives him. It's like, where is he keeping the gun? Because then all of a sudden he pulls out a cannon or whatever, and it's like, where was he holding it? Like,
I love like when he's blowing up the towers later later in this
Well,
sequence.
Dude, this is a good fight between Steve Austin and
Yeah.
Barney Ross. Like, it was cool to see. And I do respect that Stone is willing to put other guys over. I mean, yeah, I know you guys would bring up maybe as a Rocky reference. I just thought, hey, he even though he's technically the star of the movie overall amongst a cast of stars, he's still willing to take a hit so other guys can look good. And obviously, he wanted to give Stone Cold that extra push for the movie, and he did put him over really good, almost like the way a good wrestler wants to put another guy over to elevate him a little. I thought I saw from the wrestling perspective what Stallone was doing for Steve Austin. That's what I got of it. And Stone Cold did look damn good at it. Like, seriously, I thought he was going to be unstoppable. And then, of course, we go right to Hail Caesar, aka Terry Crews, shooting the shit out of everyone, dude. The amount, once again, that sweat, like you can see the glazes on his skin is so
he's so
bloody.
glossy.
And
The other
guys,
side of that story, though, was that
Go ahead.
when I figured out what movies were, my parents pretty much let me watch almost anything after that. That was the beauty of it. Like I could see, like I saw like First Blood.
They weren't worried about you.
Yeah,
what
no.
you watched.
No, I saw First Blood and stuff like that. The only thing they said to me about like movies like certain things like First Blood, like they sat me down and explained like, because at the time when that came out, that was the first time they really started talking about PTSD.
It was a serious movie.
Yeah, and the shit that the guys in Vietnam would go through, because like, and they explained to me like this guy went to the same war that your dad went to, all that kind of business. That was kind of the conversation we had before that. But otherwise, 9 times out of 10, they let me watch Caddyshack, Police Academy, any of the Rambo films, type of stuff. You name it, no problem.
My mom was the same way.
Yeah, my mom did limit like my like cartoon exposure, because I also did have a little bit like a similar thing, a disconnect between reality and fiction when I was like really young.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like kids are very impressionable. So like I do agree. Like,
my point was, it's just a matter of you got to set them down and get them to understand what the difference is between
the difference of reality versus fiction. Yeah, that's what it comes down to. Some kids have a better grasp on it, and then there's some that don't. Obviously I have 2 girls. One has a better grasp on it, and the other most definitely does not. So she needs a few extra years. Whereas the other one, I feel like I could show things. I'm like, okay, this she's got this down. This makes sense. But the other one, she needs a few extra years. So, but
I mean, my parents would let me watch
I
like sex movies or like horror films.
We got explosions are about to happen, and a whole lot of them. And not Saddam got shot the shit out of by Newsom. Not Saddam and not Newsom. We're just Newsom and Saddam.
Newsom and Saddam. It's almost like Saddam and Satan all over again.
I know. There's a whole lot in there. Oh, dude, there is. There's our boy right there. shooting the shit out of everything is, but you see heads explode and bodies disintegrate.
Oh yeah, just so much gore, so much fire. It's great.
Who needs a gun that big? Come on.
Terry Crews.
I'd like a gun that big.
Sign you up for that one. Yeah.
I'd like a gun that big.
I do too. I gotta get the hookup, because I'm like, bro, I need that straight up. Come on. Boo, boo, boo. So, guys, also, this I was meaning to mention earlier, but maybe it's a good time now to mention it. Stallone got injured a lot making this movie. Like, a lot. Like, I think over 10 times,
14 injuries, I think, right?
14 injuries? Okay, I knew it was at least 10 of them. Holy shit.
IMDb said 14, I believe.
Okay.
And he's like 65. He's 65 making this movie. So think of that. I mean,
65 making this film.
Unbelievable shape for his age. I mean,
that's
incredible.
That's just not shape. That's also pills and pharmaceuticals.
I mean, like Stallone, like still making like action movies, like even now, like he must have taken like really good care of himself.
He probably has a super strict diet, a super strict workout regime. I remember, once again, bringing back to Chuck Dixon. Chuck Dixon said that Stallone is a major workaholic to this day, since he still keeps in frequent contact with him. He said that Stallone is always staying busy. He's always on the move, and that's probably what helps. That's why he could still.
I never did get my Expendables book.
The Expendables go to hell.
Yeah, I never did get it.
You didn't get it? I got my copy.
I never got mine.
You should. ask Chuck. I'm sure he'd set you up.
I
You've had him
should.
on Midnight's Edge.
Yeah, they should do a
Sure.
reprint. They should do a reprint.
Well, I paid for it and
Good.
everything, but I think it got sent to my wrong address, so I don't know.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Check your tracking number, Tom. Come on now.
Yeah,
I have no
I'll
idea.
find my copy and I'll tell you how it all ends. If
I
they
want to
come back to
actually read
life,
it,
or
though. See, I want to actually read it, so I don't want it spoiled because I missed that window because I was still learning. Let's just say about things around that time, so I didn't know better. So
yeah.
I'm hoping for a reprint one day of that. I really do. But it's okay. A man can dream. But guys, we miss how not Newsome. Now he got shot the shit out of by Barney, but right at that same time he got stabbed in the back, literally by Statham. And they said, "Oh, we're even about the blade and the bullets being just as fast." And they're like, "Oh, okay."
Oh yeah, towards the end in the final shootout. I came for her.
You're not a
What?
real fan of Stallone unless you've seen Italian Stallion. Come on now.
Oh, for real. Oh, did we go back, Mark?
Yeah, I hit the darn button. I'm trying to figure out where we were on the slideshow. So we went
Well, we were
back a
right
little bit.
at
That's
when the building was exploding and Terry
the building
Crews was
exploded.
sweating.
Yes.
Yeah,
All right.
and
There
Terry
we
Crews
go.
was
Yeah.
about to go ape shit again.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Okay,
what's kinda
I'm
fun.
like,
Yep,
something
yep.
seems off, but at least we get to
Something.
see him in
We
his
can see
blade.
that again. Yep. Let me go
Yeah.
back. Yep. I slipped. The mouse slipped. Yeah.
The
Let me get
mouse
to the
slipped.
explosion. Yeah.
Sly was slinging tea.
Let's see. I think
Oh,
we're
you
maybe
guys are
around
fucking
here. Let's
funny.
see.
It's it's right around the part. Yeah, the building explodes, and you see Stone Cold get into a fight with Randy Couture, and it's a good once again another good fight. And Stone Cold actually almost. I remember watching one of the making ofs. He actually almost accidentally got set on fire. Fun to see. So this movie was dangerous to their literal lives, not just Stallone, but even
isn't that the
Steve.
explosion that almost ripped his leg off?
Yeah, Stone
Not
Cold
bad, yeah.
almost lost his own life to make this movie. They were almost literally expendable for this movie. Damn, poor
This is like
Steve.
Red Part 4. Retired, extremely dangerous.
Retired. I see. I'm not. I've not seen. I'm not familiar. Sadly.
How can you not watch? Okay. Mark D with the C. We need to watch that movie.
I'll
All right.
admit when I have not seen something. I'll admit it.
Have you
I
seen,
was new to Spaceballs only 2 years ago, guys.
Oh wow.
Remember for that Toxic Tuesday?
Yeah.
Yeah, I never seen Spaceballs until we did Toxic
Well,
Tuesday on it.
I mean, like, I still have not seen Blazing Saddles. My dad says like,
Oh my
me and him
God.
are gonna have to watch it like together.
You're out of the will until then. Dash Attack. Just want to let you know.
I'll
God.
quickly make it up.
Oh, Blazing Saddles. No, I've absolutely have seen Blazing Saddles and then some. I mean, it's one of the best movies.
Yeah,
Of
but
all
what I was saying is like, like Spaceballs, like I had seen, I've always been like, I've been such a big like Star Wars fan, like, since my teens. So, Red and Red 2. Nice.
Yes.
Lee
Fantastic
Hyun-bun.
movie.
Lee Byung-hun. I don't know. Lee
I think
Byung-hun.
I think I saw one of them. I can't
Are
really.
you talking about being hung 70s?
Yeah, Red 2 is well hung with Lee Byung-hun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, see, it's not like you're talking about being like hung. Were you having the cream of some young
You know,
guy?
so
That time,
Shitty walk.
I heard you coming.
Long Wang, one
Movie's going by too fast.
his genitals are the three main characters.
Yeah, like Spaceballs is great. That's what more can I say? Like, I was making Spaceballs jokes like just last weekend.
It's all about the merchandise.
Yeah, that was the one. I was
That's the
like,
best
I was
one,
talking
yeah.
about when I finally get because with the new requirements, like I'm only like 500 hours away from being partially monetized. So like
Mhm.
you know, I was talking about Dash Attack the flamethrower and Dash Attack the lunchbox. You know, just put like the big cat anime thing like on everything.
Where's our boys here? All the guns. Is this the pylon? No. Oh, we're close. We're getting
We're
close.
close. Yeah, just skip it. Ouch.
Well, I don't know if we they didn't show what happened if he did or if he made it so we don't know. We'll have to ask Tia Carrere what happened. She would definitely have the answers. You can ask her if you meet her though, Six. I mean, there's only one way to find out. She does have an Instagram. You can ask her. Like, hey, did you really actually hear him? Because he did have that big smile on his face when she said that. Like, he had that ridiculous grin, like, yeah, I came.
That time, I heard you coming.
Look at that grin on his face. So weird. Oh, here's where the last.
Oh yeah.
Not Saddam and not
this is where we
Newsom.
left off.
Yeah.
This is where we left off. This is
all right. Not Saddam.
So he
and
becomes
not
a good.
Newsom.
He becomes a good guy now, right? Sort
well,
of. good
not
guy.
sort
Kinda,
of,
sort of.
not
Kind of,
really.
sort of. Yeah.
No,
Slightly
he-
redeemed.
He still wanted
Well,
to kill his
I mean, he was
sister.
apologetic to his daughter. He's still a tyrant. You know, like he just doesn't want to take orders from the white guy anymore.
Yeah, I'd say
Yeah.
that sums it up. Yeah.
Kick the gringo out.
Boom. And then they're like, oh no, we gotta go back in.
Blurry.
Shoot him. And then all of a sudden, okay, just light them up, and then the domino effect happens, and freaking not Newsom decides to run away off with Brazilian girl because, well, he's a bitch. What a bitch, man. He kills not Saddam. Shit's getting old.
You know, if he had just left her and just like tried to go for a helicopter, he might have actually survived this. If he had not taking her was his big mistake.
Yep. Like I said, she heard it by, not going with them earlier on in the movie. But hopefully she learns her lessons from this one. There's a great line we missed too, where Caesar says, hey, yeah, small army. What do we got? And Caesar says 4.5 men, referring to Jet Li as, yeah, because he's like, that's not funny. And there's another one where Gunner says to Jet Li, is like, what do you wear? Size 3? Bring it, Happy Feet. And that was right around that time the Happy Feet movie was a big deal in the theaters too. I remember that.
Yeah, come on, Happy Feet.
Happy Feet.
Yeah, Happy Feet was a pretty big hit for a while. Did you get a sequel?
I do not know if it did have a sequel or not, but I remember when.
Oh yeah, there was Happy
Feet
Feet too.
Was there?
Yeah,
Okay.
there was.
Yeah, and I think there might even have been a straight to video or
Wasn't
streaming
Brie
third
Larson
one
in
too.
that? Brie Larson was in that, wasn't she?
Probably. She's got happy feet, happy ugly feet.
Dark Blue. I've seen
I
Dark
don't know
Blue.
whether they're
That's
happy.
a great movie.
You saw this?
I love Dark Blue.
Oh god, yeah, I love
Fuck
that movie.
yes.
Love Dark Blue.
Yeah,
I'll have to check it out.
Kurt was super.
It will give you
I love
extra
me my
balls.
Kurt Russell.
It will give you extra balls.
Nice.
There's a reason
Great
why it
film.
said ride the screen, blow it. Right when I said that. Terry Crews is screaming for him to blow it.
Hey, 6.
Oh, she's in the fucking building. Look, he's like, okay, guys, I'm gonna listen to you. I'm gonna take your advice. I'm gonna blow it. Here you go. It's gonna be huge. And that was a huge explosion. To the fact that an explosion so huge that it rings their damn ears.
I mean, they must have put like over 60 charges in that building.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they strapped all those pillars and the walls, and they set that shit
yeah.
up to go
They
up
were running
sky
through
high.
there slapping. Yeah, they were running through the building, slapping stuff
They
on
put
everywhere.
explosives on the explosives. It was like
It's true.
Yes.
That sounds almost like almost like an 80s, 70s action movies. And here's our boy here, Hail Caesar. I still can't take that name seriously. Hail Caesar. Shooting the shit out of bodies, man. I remember seeing this once again. Like I may have had like 5 brogasms watching this movie in the theaters. There was a reason why my friend's girlfriend was the third wheel. There was a reason, and now you understand why. We lost our shit. Maybe a little bit too literary.
Remember this shit at Christmas.
She keeps looking at my kickstand.
I remember this.
There you go.
But
Nick.
I gotta give props to Stallone for having the single action revolver, which everybody else is like, yeah, right. And
slow.
In one case, he fires it, but if you know what a single action revolver does, he fires it, he holds the trigger back, and he fans the hammer 5 times and fires 5 more times and kills everybody. And it's like,
boom, boom, boom.
That's what you do with that kind of a revolver. Except you don't put a 6th round in it, but that's a different story. But he's old school in this, which I thought.
Well, that's what I like.
was
They had
great.
the characters are pretty well developed in this too. When you think about it, they've all got their little idiosyncrasies, and Stallone with the guns, the pistols, the single action versus Statham with his knives, and Christmas with his massive shotgun. So, I mean, it's a fun movie, but they did develop the characters, and it's interesting to see. They're not all just clones of each other. Yeah,
Terry
This is why-
Warhead.
Oh yeah, it drove me nuts when I'd see reviews that saying this team doesn't know who they are. I'm like, were you watching this movie? Not only does the team know what they are, they know what their mission is, they know what their purpose is. They all have their own unique traits that make them who they are. Like this, clearly, like there are people who are just not actually paying attention to this movie. They're paying what I like to say selective attention.
Yeah,
they
even
needed
back
to.
Even back
This is
then,
like
the
people
media
who
was
don't
just shitting on movies that, they know aren't for them, but they're gonna shit on them anyway.
Right.
Go ahead.
This is like people who don't like Hot Fuzz because they never watched action movies in the first place, so they don't understand the satire and the jokes about action movies that are in the movie Hot Fuzz. It's
Hot Fuzz.
It's brilliantly written. This movie is another take on action movies where it's self-referential. They all know, it would be Sylvester Stallone. We all know we've been in action movies before. We know what we're doing, and we just gotta having fun with it. You know what I mean?
Yolanda
to be on the set, other than the
Yolanda
nailed
it.
Off.
Yolanda, if they were stuck in their own dicks, yeah, I agree. Yolanda's nailed it with that comment.
Yes. Yeah, but I can tell you, Yolanda, anybody who can do that doesn't care about movies.
And Jet Li gets a few last great kills before he has to be sent off into the night. Yeah, all the guys get the last moment. Couture gets his last great moment. Obviously, Stallone and Statham do. And here's the thing. This is another thing the movie does not get a lot of credit for. They took a big cast that could have been a mess of a movie of obviously a bunch of dudes with the testosterone and the egos, and they make the performances. It doesn't feel all disorganized and all over the place. It feels like, okay, this actually makes a lot more sense than you would think. Because you would think, oh, this is gonna be a mess at face value, but it does work in the context of the story. Yeah. It really does.
No, that's why I think the movie's so good, because you like the characters, and Lundgren's character's kind of off the rails crazy, and then he has a good that moment of redemption at the end. I guess the director's cut kind of explains it better, but Jet Li's got his the joke about being too short and too small, and having to work harder than everyone else. So it's well written, and that's because Stallone, was a smart guy. Though the persona's yo Adrian, but the guy's a freaking genius. So
He is.
I mean,
never gets enough credit as a writer, Mark.
Yeah.
Never does.
No,
we all
I
obviously give
agree.
him credit for his performances, but he never gets the credit for the writing and directing that he does because he's great at both. He knows story, he knows continuity. He respects lore with this stuff. He really does, and I love seeing that.
And I don't think Stallone has ever gotten enough credit for his improvement as an actor over his career.
Oh no! Not only that, people have always treated him like a bonehead, right? Like, and they forget that how he's written and directed and all these other things, and he is not the character Rocky, right? They forget that all the time. And the other thing you guys were talking about is like with in relation to Hot Fuzz when this movie came out, for instance, there was these kind of movies weren't being made anymore. At least not really. I mean, yeah, you had your Michael Bay films and your J.J. Abrams movies, but those were the guys that were basically making action movies at this point. I'm trying to remember, was Zack Snyder even around yet? Like, I don't know if 300 had dropped yet, but
He had done 300.
Yeah, like that's the kind of action films we had to that point. So like,
he had
this was a pure.
that owl.
Let's
that
let Tom
animated
finish
owl
his thought.
movie.
Dash. Let's let Tom finish his
Oh
thought.
yes, I'm sorry.
He had that. I don't even remember what it was now, but this was just pure throwback.
But yeah, they weren't making
time,
those
yeah.
80s style action movies as Stallone and Schwarzenegger and Predator, the ones you grew up with. They were more, like a Michael Bay kind of a slick action, not a
Mark,
guy
you
movie.
can make a case they're not even action; they're just a spectacle effects.
Yeah, that was the word I was
so much
looking for.
action.
Yeah,
And they were starting to try and compete with Marvel films, and that's kind of what got us here today. So hopefully they didn't forget that with Expendable 4. But yeah.
Go ahead, Dash.
Oh yeah, so like what you were asking, I know. I think around that time period, the Guardians of Gahuli, which is based off a children's book, it was an animated movie Zack Snyder did like around that time, and it was pretty good. Like like I read part of the books. It captures it tries to blend like the first three. I only read the first one and then parts of the second one, so I can't say how well it is as an adaptation. But it's got all the Zack Snyder flair is all there. It's just an animated.
Okay. So I want to add one final thing to the action thing. We know what else seems like a throwback of a movie and probably also didn't benefit as well from it was Punisher Warzone. Because obviously the first movie with Tom Jane, or technically second, didn't do too good at theaters. So you also had that decrease with the being a traditional action hero flick. Granted, I know it's a Marvel movie, but if you watch it, it's basically like a Death Wish movie. Warzone
It tries to be
it's
a
Death Wish
canon
movie
film picture because it's a Marvel Knights production, if I remember right.
Yeah,
Nick.
Marvel Knights. No, you're right, and that was 2008.
You're
and that
talking
was
the
year of
Lundgren movie?
The
Oh no,
Dark
you're
Knight.
talking
Ray
later.
Ray Stevenson.
Okay, and God rest his soul. Yeah,
I like both those movies. I like the one that came out in the early 2000s, and I like Warzone.
Am I the only one that likes Dolph Lundgren as a Punisher? Because that's still one of my favorite.
No, I like Dolph Lundgren as a Punisher. I do too. And
I like
there's
that
the
movie
thing,
too. Yeah,
that's another
Never
great
seen it.
acknowledgement we should mention with Dolph Lundgren. He started off in his movies kind of being Dolph Lundgren, but then he definitely adapted more skill set later on as an actual acting character as well. I especially hear as Gunner. I think he really was not. This is not him just being Dolph Lundgren as Gunner. Whereas in Showdown in Little Tokyo, he's Dolph Lundgren with the biggest dick Brandon Lee's ever seen on him.
Well, and this character he plays here is kind of a throwback to his Universal Soldier character in a lot of ways.
Yes,
I can see that.
ways,
But he still feels less Lundgren-y to me. Yeah,
Oh yeah, no, it's much more subdued. Like in that movie, he's going like almost full Nicolas Cage. But I mean,
oh yeah, you're right.
full Nick Cage.
And you never go full Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, no. We will do a Punisher month, chat. We'll do a Punisher or
Well, that's a good
3
idea.
weeks.
Oh, cool.
Lundgren, Jane Stevenson. It will happen. This once again,
a good
we're
idea.
just basically you're basically getting a preview tonight of the next few years of what's to come on Toxic Tuesday. But here's
You say what's
the
to
great
come?
kill.
Because
Yeah,
we're gonna come.
This is the great kill that not Newsom gets, where Stallone shoots the shit out of him, and Statham once again literally stabs him in the back, and it's the whole hey, maybe
I
the
like this
blade is
line.
just
Hang
as
on.
fast as the bullet.
We're both dead inside, but
That was
somebody.
that was a great
came for
banter.
her.
So he says we're both dead inside. Well, one of them was about to be dead on the outside too. Only one
right
of
here
them.
shit. That was a
And
big
Eric Roberts
blade
is
up-
good
up-
in this. Yeah,
I love
Gavin
Eric
Newsom
Roberts.
is good in this. Is a good
Love
villain.
him.
And he's just
he's a
got
great
so much more
villain.
presence than the evil Saddam character, who's kind of like a
Saddam.
It seems like an incompetent guy, or Newsom is taking really the boss there. So yeah, but it works though. It definitely works. So it's you expect how are they gonna do this? All these heroes, action heroes. How's this movie gonna work? And they have a decent plot, and they did a great job with it. I think it's a lot of fun, and it made a ton of money, right? So.
Yeah,
What did
especially
it make like
overseas.
300 million or something, or what did it do? It was pretty darn.
250 or something like that. It was very successful
Yeah.
movie. No, it was great that it did it, and then the second one did even better worldwide as well. So no, it obviously there's a need for these types of movies still.
And
to
then
this
they made
day.
a mistake
Obviously,
with the third one. They decided to go
Yeah.
PG-13 for some dumb reason.
Yeah,
They
we
got
talked
greedy.
about that earlier. Like that was really dumb. I recently saw it. I didn't see it because it was PG-13 at the time. I just watched it on Netflix because the fourth one's coming up. And yeah, like it feels like it was an all right movie, but like it didn't really feel like too much of an Expendables movie. The cursing, the explosions, the gore, it was missing.
And they have an unrated version of it, but it's probably
They
not the more
do.
widely available version, much like the expanded version of the first film or whatever. So
Yeah, so you didn't get any of this stuff.
No,
Why is he calling?
hamming it up, but that was about it.
you could PG-13 that scene. You just have to cut out the cuts. You just have boom, 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 boom with Terry Crews on screen, and just remember that shit at Christmas. You get away with that. You just can't show.
Yeah, but
blown
why is he
away.
calling out Jason Statham's character there?
I know. It's weird.
I don't get what he's calling him out for. Like, what did he ever do to him?
So Tom, you're mentioning about the PG-13. I want to add to that something I forgot to add earlier. The worst part about it, obviously, with the less violence of the PG-13, is the fact that they had Mel Gibson as the villain. He would have been a perfect villain for an R-rated movie.
Oh, you're right.
Well, here's the thing: is I think the
fumbled
problem
on
was
Mel Gibson as a villain in an R-rated movie.
I think that was part of the problem with it, how much more expensive the third film was.
Mel Gibson.
Maybe that's probably why. Well, between him and just all the other
Harrison Ford.
Yeah, Harrison Ford. And then who else they brought in? Well, Chuck Norris is in number 2. Who they bring in for 3? I'm trying to think.
Because 2 actually, that's the thing, is 2 actually didn't make more than the first film. At least not
worldwide. No,
Banderas.
domestically
Banderas
domestically
was
it
the
did.
third.
Worldwide
Domestically,
it did.
poor.
Antonio
Worldwide,
Worldwide
Banderas.
it did better.
They had
Worldwide
Antonio-
it did better though. Here, I'll get the numbers right now.
But then the other problem was the third one took a huge downturn. Like,
yes,
it didn't even make 40 million in the US, barely grossed 175 overseas.
274. So whoever said nearly 300 was right about the first
That was me.
Expendables
Yep.
worldwide. Okay,
I'll take that for the win.
now Expendables 2
With inflation, it'd be
was
much closer to
even
3 million.
more. Was even more 314. So that was an increase.
But it took a
worldwide.
downturn in the US. That was the problem. In fact,
Yeah,
it
it
took almost
did.
a $20 million downturn in
But,
the US,
but
unfortunately.
it shows you it's kind of like that whole Transformers thing where a movie like that they'll go down in the States, but they'll go up overseas.
And I don't know if people felt this way about the second film, but this is to me where the second film paled, was the way that they presented it, the way it was shot, the way it looks, the way the whole thing. feels too much like a Michael Bay movie. It's like, no. You're supposed to be doing a throwback to the other films,
Yeah.
not
Grim and
making one of
dirty.
these modern action films, unfortunately. At least that was my memory of it. I have not watched the second one all the way through in a while. So
I just remember Chuck Norris telling a Chuck Norris joke.
yeah. To me, it was
That's
one of
right,
those.
yes.
This is one of those series where the first one was always much better than the rest. And I think I remember 3 being all right, but I barely remember it.
I
I've
like
only seen it
2.
once.
I personally like 2, but like
I got to
preferences, I guess.
rewatch 2 again.
Well,
It's got
Maybe
Chuck
we
Norris in
should,
it, so it
Tom.
can't be bad.
No, and
No.
Van Damme's in it too. And if I recall, Van Damme's the villain in it.
Yeah,
It's been
Van
a while
Damme is
since-
the
Yeah, he
villain.
is the villain in it.
But the thing is that this movie was so self-referential. You knew, like I said before, in the church scene, they were all looking at each other, going, yeah, we know we've been in action movies before, so we're in one now. Are you better? Are you not?" And the other one goes, "Yeah, I'm better." This movie's humor and the whole shtick comes from all of these guys being together once.
Mhm.
Do it again? I don't see how it works, but I'd be happy to be convinced otherwise. But I don't think
It's
it
like
would
the
work again.
Yeah, it's like the line. I'm busy anyway, so give this job to my friend here. He loves playing in the jungle. It's like, still, I messed up my Schwarzenegger accent, but he's making fun of, Stallone with the Rambo, because that was the big rivalry back then. And part of the
Exactly.
reason they wouldn't do the movies together, because, they were like, whose movies are going to make the most money? And Tom, what were you telling us? Like, Stallone got tricked into making
Who's
Throw
Stopper
Mama's-
My Mom Will Shoot? Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
And I never did finish with the Commando story earlier either.
Finish it. No, finish it. Go ahead. And
Um,
chat while he's doing that. Get your scores going while Tom goes off.
Yeah, basically what happened was, so Ivan Reitman had gotten a few scripts together for Schwarzenegger to do for a comedy, and one of them was Suburban Commando. It was meant to be a satirical sequel to Commando.
No way.
Yes, where Schwarzenegger's
wow.
character is forced to go on vacation in the suburbs, and he ends up renting a little house from Danny DeVito. So the movie that was what it was supposed to be. Well, it got rejected. Instead, they did Twins. And of course, another one of those movies that was written at that time was the Junior movie.
Okay.
Then the script was so funny, though, they repurposed it for
Just
Hogan, and they
Stahelski.
changed it for just a space commando kind of guy is all they
Yeah.
changed, really.
Oh, man. That would have
Yeah,
been
so
awesome.
DeVito would have played the Christopher Lloyd bit. So, yeah.
That would have been fun. God.
You see,
Of course, we
Chad
did get twins, which
Stahelski,
is
stunt
awesome.
coordinator there. So, Chad Stahelski.
I don't know how Ivan Reitman could have dropped that ball. That could have been really good.
It was what Schwarzenegger chose, basically,
Hmm.
from my memory. But yeah, then the Stopper My Mom Will Shoot bit was basically they both got offered the film. Stallone knew he didn't want to do it. I think he had scheduling conflicts anyway. But just to pull a funny on Sylvester Stallone, he put in a bid, and he knew it was high enough that Sly would try and beat it, and
Right.
basically played him. Because I don't know how much it was, but just say so they put the offer out to both of them, and Schwarzenegger came back with, "Yeah, I'll do it for 20 million," or something like that. And Sly
Yeah.
said, "Well, I'll do it for 18, or whatever." And you guys laugh, but at that point, like Sly and they were getting those kind of fucking paydays. Like Sly had gotten like 12 at that time. He was the highest paid actor in Hollywood, I think, with he had gotten 12 up to that point for the arm wrestling movie Over the Top.
Over the Top.
And I can't remember what he got for Rambo, but I think it was more than that. And then I think Sly ended up making, I think it was 16 or 18 million for Terminator 2. So then he took the top spot. Yeah. And then, so they kept bouncing back and forth there for a little bit till Sly's career kind of took a turn. And this movie was one of the movies that helped bring him back. He had Rambo, or he had Rocky, Rambo, and then this kind of helped bring him back into the public eye again. Because for a while there, Sly was doing like straight to video shit. And Schwarzenegger went off to play governor, so that's where he went. So, yeah.
Did anybody watch that superhero movie with Sly Stallone in it?
Loved it. The Samaritan. In fact, it was I saw it, and then I saw Black Adam. And I'm like, oh, I like this movie better the
I
first
love
time when
the
it was called The
twist.
Samaritan. Like, because
Is it a
Black Adam's
series or a
basically the
movie?
same fucking movie.
The Samaritan
It's a
was
movie?
good.
It's a movie.
Yeah,
It
was
feels like
very
a 90s
different.
throwback. Sorry, go ahead, Dash.
Okay.
Oh yeah, like Samaritan's very different than like your typical like modern day superhero film, and that's I think that's why it's good.
Because I've seen it and I thought about watching it and I just had never got around to it.
Yeah, see it. It's pretty
predictable
good.
but fun. It feels like a 90s throwback film, like I said. It feels like something Sly would have made right after like Demolition Man.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
yes.
that sounds great.
All right, dudes. We're gonna shoot off on some scores, and you know what?
Shoot.
We're gonna have our lead man. We're gonna have Mark D with a C be the first one to shoot his loadout.
Oh, I get to go first. Awesome. Get to come first there, yep. Well, that's awesome. I think did I play all the clips we had tonight? I think I did play all the ones that I did. I want to make sure that I don't miss any clips. Yeah, but yeah, this was. I don't. I think I played. I think I played it. Well, I'll play this one more time. Why not?
You guys aren't going to start sucking each other's dicks, are you?
You have the biggest dick I've ever seen on a man.
If I want to videotape
Let's get down to business.
Let's get down to business. Yeah. So if you haven't seen this movie,
Load up. Hold on, guys.
What's up?
I'm waiting for the Betamax to load up. Hold on.
Oh, Betamax is loading.
Top loader.
All right. Go ahead, Mark. Well,
Oh, sure. Yep. Yeah. So I'd say, yeah. If you haven't seen this movie, go watch this. I think it's probably the best. The Expendables movies. 2 is pretty darn good too, as well, and hopefully this new one will be good. But yeah, it's a throwback. So you weren't getting this type of movie, and I grew up, watching 80s, 90s action movies, and Commando, Terminator, all the Stallone great action films as Rambo, and there was just it just spawned a whole genre. So you got those movies, and now you get these guys are quote unquote older and wiser, and they kind of call back to that too, which is nice. So they acknowledge that you're getting slower, especially Stallone and Statham's obviously a younger guy, but they pull it off, and and right away the movie's gonna be awesome when they have the albatross with the 50mm guns just blowing the crap out of all the soldiers, and then dumping fuel and setting on fire. It's like, and Statham's in the nose gun, like it looks like a World War I biplane. Like Snoopy would be there, right? And that gunner there. So it's just, and it's fun too. So there's some obviously it's our violence in terms of see some limbs get chopped off, but like subtle things like Statham's scene with the his girlfriend gets punched, and he just that whole scene where he takes out all those guys on the basketball court, and the line that he says we mentioned, now you know what I do for a living. It's great writing, so you really get into these characters, and you really appreciate them, and you picture them being a crew. They're believable. So I'd give this this is an A movie. This is a 9. It's a lot of fun. Toxic, yeah. These guys are all freaking toxic. The Gavin Newsom toxic villain. They're the governor's daughter. He doesn't care. He's gonna take her out, and there's some rough scenes with her, and yeah, I think probably like a 7 to 8. I give it an 8 for toxicity. All this testosterone there. It's tough to get that in a movie these days, right? That would be canceled. All this testosterone, right? So yeah, it's a fun movie, great ride, and yeah, it's a great throw this movie into the VHS. Well, I guess this was DVD when this came out, but get some beer and pizza, and you're all set. So yeah, it's a fun movie, and I didn't think Stallone could pull it off, but don't doubt him. I mean, he did a great job pulling all these egos and actors together, and had a good story that was a nice action romp, and hopefully this new one will live up to the first two.
Mm-hmm. I agree
So
strongly.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mark, for all the clips you assembled. The slideshow as always. You kill it as always, and we're
Thank you.
thankful. On behalf of the panel and the chat, we love what you do in service of Toxic Tuesday. And Keely Chow, Toxicity, and overall 1010. Josh Post, overall 9/10 toxicity, 9 out of 10 solid film, always a fun ride. Fat Elvis, toxicity 10, greatness 10. Darth Viewer, 9 out of 10 for the movie, 3 out of 10 for toxicity. Ooh, I don't agree, but okay. 99 out of 10 for testosterone. Ooh, that's interesting. Dearest, 10 out of 10 toxic man sweat, 8 out of 10 for action figure collection. Ecoy Tomason, overall 8, toxicity 9, testosterone off the charts. Rob Altus, toxicity 9.9, no F's given, overall 9.5. RJ Godzilla, action 250. Holy crap. Toxicity 2. There's hardly any women to be toxic towards. I think that adds to it that there's barely women in the movie.
Yeah,
Humor
it's
8. Not since Demolition Man has there been a more meta action movie. It's to destroy all monsters of 80s action movies. I like that. And then Phoenix Knight 08, 100 out of 10 for all out testosterone, 8 out of 10 overall. Deleted scenes, overall 8 out of 10, toxicity 7, explosions 10, severed limbs 5, and 5 equals 10. Hot babes 10 out of 10. All right, I will let Dasher Tech go.
All right. Yeah, so for me, 9 for toxicity, 10 as a overall. This movie, like I said, it's a love letter to the action genre as a whole. Like some of these guys actually like set this genre into motion, with Arnold, Stallone, and then like you have like some of the newer people like Statham and Jet Li. You had so many like action, like, and like you said, they were a real crew. They all had something to the table. They all like together, and they took out this like this dictatorship like drug thing, and it doesn't matter. You just want to see the bodies fly and the explosions, and it's such a fun movie, and I have very fond memories going to the theater and seeing it with my friends at the time.
Mm-hmm. Luppy also?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure. Thank you. Appreciate it. Tom. Tom's got to go, so we'll let Tom shoot his load out.
He's got to go. He's got to go.
Yeah, no, I haven't watched this movie in a few years. I watched it again last night for the first time in a while, and it's aged much better. I liked it more than I remember liking it when it first came out. Because I remember liking it when it first came out. I was like, all right, that was a thing. It's one of those things where it's kind of what you expect it to be for the most part, no more, no less. And it didn't really like stick with me overall to where it was like a movie I revisited often. I remember not being like I said, as enthralled with the sequels as much. But no, I'll probably revisit the sequels now again, also just to see the fourth film coming up here. But it aged better. I would actually like back when it first came out, I probably would have gave this movie like a 6 or a 7, and now I definitely would give it like a solid 8. It's definitely a really well done film. On the toxicity level, definitely gets like an 8, 9, or 10, somewhere in that region, just for the pure, just toxicity of it all. Yeah, I mean, and it gets like 10 handy Randys. I mean.
Oh, he brought the handy back.
We're missing Mad here tonight, and I feel like this is an ultimate Mad movie, and I can't believe he's not here. But maybe there's too many women in the movie.
Yes.
Maybe like if they would have just cut out the 2 women, and he probably would have come up with a good argument as to why we don't need them in the movie. In fact, the Christmas story you can cut out completely.
You could have cut that.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't even need to be there. It's pointless in the whole film. In fact, a lot of that's
there for him to show off.
In fact, there's like in the extended cut, that's where some of the stuff is like more of him and Barney talking about his relationship is some of the added stuff. It's like it just gets cut out of the
That is toxic.
Yeah. So this is obviously the more toxic version.
Yeah. Expendables didn't need the Bechdel test.
And then the same thing with them going back to save the girl.
Yeah.
He'd be like, no, they're just gonna go back to kick the bad guy's ass. They don't need a girl to do that. Like, they don't need a reason. They just other than yeah. So to give it, I would say 10 handy Randys, because Mad would love this movie if it wasn't for those 2 reasons, I think.
Well, Tom, it's been pleasuring, and I enjoy your pleasure
mutually.
And yeah, go take care of your stuff. But thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me, guys. Take care of yourself. Stay toxic. Did we say what's next week yet, or
Hard Times? Charles Bronson next week. Hard Times.
Take care of yourself, guys, and we'll see you.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Be good time,
Later.
everybody.
See you, Tom. See you.
All right. I will read off some more scores. Poke Race 6666 says all 10. All right. Thank you, Poke Race. Vulcan Lives, my friend. 9 out of 10, 10, 10. Yolanda Gaines, Toxicity 3, Action 12, overall 10. All right. And my guy, 5 picoseconds. What's up, 5? Hopping right at the end, 199 out of 10 for Toxicity. This movie is so stupid. I love it. There you go. You're getting it, 5. Nice to see you, man. Thanks for dropping in. And now, let's see here. We had 70s, Dash and Tom.
I haven't
hold
gone
on.
yet.
That's what I meant to say. 70s, you're next because we have Mark, Dash, Tom. 70s,
Not that I've
you're
got
next.
anything exciting.
I
to say,
went.
but
I came.
Mark has
I
already
will-
came. He spent
Well,
already.
All right. Well, now you get to spend.
Yeah. Well, just first of all, I wanted to mention music because there's not that there's a handful of songs in this movie, as well as the score, and it happens to include two one very appropriate one. The Boys Are Back in Town, Thin Lizzy.
Yep.
The other one
Oh,
is the other one is one of my favorite songs of all time. Keep Your Hands to Yourself by the Georgia Satellites, who are a kick-ass
there
band. If
was
you've
good
never heard the
music.
Georgia Satellites, love that. So
I have
extra
heard it.
points for having seen them live a few times. Great band. Extra points for including the Georgia Satellites. And this is in I mean, I love macho ensemble movies like Kelly's Heroes and The Dirty Dozen and The Wild Bunch and Can't Stop the Music. See if anybody gets that joke. So, movies full of macho men doing things together. It's a Village People movie. It's the Village People movie. I had to spell the joke out there because nobody will get that one. But no, I do love that. Sorry, Bruce. This is in that lineage of those movies. I do love those. I'd give this for Toxicity 69 out of 10 for the church scene. And I mean, it is just there's more buckets of testosterone pouring out of the cinema screen when you go to see this than you'll ever get anywhere else. I think in terms of greatness, I'd probably give it 9 out of 10. I don't think it's the greatest thing I've ever seen, but by God, it's fucking awesome.
One of the most
9 out of
memorable.
10.
It's fucking memorable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
I got another one here from Primark Vulcan. 9 out of 10. Simple as that. And so he wrote, all right, Bruce.
There is a period, I'm going to whisk you back to 2009. That started
Period.
in a period, I know. Sorry, Mads. There's an 18-month period of greatness where, like, you have 3 movies that came out in a year and a half that were absolute gold. And I think it starts with The Watchmen, which is a fantastic movie. And when that movie was getting wrapped up, that was kind of when this movie started hitting its full steam in production, because they knew, hey, we could jump on this bandwagon and we could do, a bunch of retired action heroes, or not retired, but just on contract. We're no longer active duty. We're kind of the contractor fuckers that go in and make the real money. And they're like, oh yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. And then somebody whispers about this movie across Tinseltown, and another great movie gets released a month after this, because this was released in August of 2010. And the next month, Red was released. And so you have from March of 2009
That's pretty good.
to September of 2010, you have 3 movies that are released that kind of have the same theming, where they're like, we're going to take some great action heroes and we're going to put them on screen and just let them go to fucking town. And I think that is about the time where, for Generation X, that's our golden age of Hollywood. I know that sounds lame because a lot of other people are like, Bruce, you're the 80s science fiction geek. You love practical effects. You like miniatures. Look at your desk of shame. And I'm like, yeah, I get that. But from like 2006 to 2010, that's when you have the start of the real Marvel Cinematic Universe. You have the finest movies being made by the giants of the 1980s, and you have really the peak of Disney before they hit the skids and bought George Lucas's Star Wars. After that, it all goes downhill, kids. Just put up your fucking Blu-ray DVDs and collect.
Game over, man. Game over.
It is. It's over. It's
Game
done.
over.
So you have these three movies, and of the three films, I prefer The Watchmen, but there's other reasons for that.
I'll
This
forgive
movie-
you for that.
This movie here is an absolute gem, but it's not a rough cut gem. This is a gem that falls out once in a 30 or 40 year span. And you'll never have something like this again while you're this young. You'll have something like this when you're a great grandfather or maybe even a grandfather, and you'll have to take your kids to go see this movie. You'll have to, because you only got one Expendables one. Okay, the other two are kind of okay. The second one's really decent. It hits all the notes right. The third one just absolutely felt like shit. I'm sorry, but this movie could be watched as part of a two-part or like a twofer on a Saturday with your kid or your grandkid, and you would afterwards take him outside and let him have his first taste of firepower. Like, okay, I'm going to let you shoot the BB gun first, and then we're going to graduate you to the 22 long rifle, and then after that, I'm going to watch you get knocked in your ass by grandfather's old 12 gauge shotty, and we're going to just laugh and laugh and laugh afterwards, and then maybe I'll sneak you some old granddads. And that'll be it. But this is fucking part of you being a youthful, naive kid, or you being a mentor and showing someone like, listen, all of life doesn't suck. This is one of those few times that for an hour and a half or 2 hours, you will have absolutely. And I know you don't recognize this, but this is probably going to be the best it is going to be for quite a while. This movie scores an absolute 88 out of 100 for me. Almost a 9. An 88 out of 100. I rate this movie in a very select few. Okay. This is a gem. Watch it, buy it, get it copied, do the pin drop test with it, and then vault it, because you don't want to lose this when the fucking nuclear war happens. If we endure nuclear war and you still survive, I hope you have a copy of this to bring back happier times.
Oh, I will. I'll make sure I'll have a spare copy, and it'll be the homoerotic edition.
Oh my god, that's for so. I love you, Nick. This is a great panel.
Love you,
Thank
Matt.
you for letting me be on here.
My pleasure. Even with the Snyderisms, you are still my guy. You're still my guy.
I at least said his best.
This is what friends are. This is what friends are for. We respect our differences.
Yeah, I like Watchmen and 300. You don't have, but I don't want. I don't want to upset Nick.
Now that's too many. Now that's too many. I'm nuking the stream. We don't speak of.
I sent
that
you the
guy.
collector's extended edition for your birthday of Watchmen, Nick.
Oh God. All right. We got 3 dudes left. Z, I don't know who you are, but if you pay attention to the screen, I don't know if you're joking. I can't tell what you're doing, but you gotta chill out, bro. Chill out, watch the screen, enjoy the ride. Enjoy the show. If not, then there's always somewhere else if you're not feeling it. So it's all good though. Dustin, splatter.
This movie has so much. It's got testosterone. It's got Botox, plastic surgery. Doesn't have any titties. I mean,
Doesn't need them.
I mean,
Have this.
at least one, right? I mean, at least like one pair. I mean, even the Commando and all those had them. Come on now.
No,
I'm not. It's a minor nitpick. Like 12-year-old me wants it. That's how old I mean, I was watching this kind of stuff, from as long as I can remember. My mom let me watch whatever I wanted. I was kind of like Tom, right? I mean, Tom and I are basically the same age. We're like, what, not even a year apart, probably. But yeah, this movie is fantastic. I remember going to see it in theaters. I'd gone to the gym before seeing it. After the gym, went to see it, then went and had pizza with some good friends of mine. And yeah. I mean, it wasn't the best pizza. I think it was Monocle's pizza. So I mean, it's whatever. But I mean, it's got everybody in it that could get into this movie. This one, I love Statham. I think that Tool in this movie had some of the best acting in it. Worst name, but some of the best acting. I mean, it's like I was thinking about. I mean, I could put like do that thing where you put your favorite character's name as your name for the stream, but I was like, I'm not being a tool for this whole stream.
I almost wish that you did. I almost wish.
But I just love him, and I wish he would do more movies. But because like The Wrestler was great, this is great. Toxicity. I mean, Botox toxicity is a lot. It's like 11 out of 12. I don't know. I love this movie. It's great. It's. I would agree with 70s. It's a 9 out of 10. It's great. It's not perfect. It's not the best. It's not original. 80s awesome, but it's trying to get you with the feels,
and it works. And
yeah, we're here talking about
it. Oh yeah, and where we shoot our loads. Thank you, Dustin.
Yes, thanks for having me.
No, thank you, man. Thanks for being here. Red shirt.
Oh man, I mean this movie. I watched it the first time. I watched it the first time today. This movie's fucking awesome. And it's not because it's an original action movie. I mean, there are lots of those, and we've talked about some of them. This movie is a bunch of people who are reliving as actors. They're reliving their roles, which I think is really rare in Hollywood. Because most actors are like, well, I played that role. I got paid. Fuck that role. I'm done. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Bruce Willis, Sylvester Stallone, In the Church are all revisiting old roles that they've played before, and they're playing them to a T. They're absolutely. This movie is every one of these actors giving an homage to the characters that made them successful, famous as action heroes, which is amazing because that doesn't happen with actors very often. They don't give a shit about their old roles. When they're done, they get paid, they move on, done. I don't care. We as fans are like, oh my God, you played John McClane. And Bruce Willis would be like, yeah, I was also in Moonlighting. Did you watch that? This movie is an homage to these guys going, yep, we played these characters. We played these type of characters. We had a lot of fun doing it, and audiences absolutely loved it. Why don't we do it again? That'd be fun. Let's play. Let's have fun with it. And that's what I think is great about this movie. Everybody who's in this movie, from Jet Li, who famously has absolutely no sense of humor, except when he's watching Jackie Chan movies. Everybody in this movie has a sense of humor. They're playing this with just a tiny smile on their face, going, yeah, you know, I know, but I'm going to play it straight. So bear with me. Stick with me here, okay? Buy into this thing. These guys are these characters, these actors who are playing these characters are people we've known for years. Some of us have known them for all of our lives. Some of us have known them for half of our lives. Whatever it was, Bruce is like, take your children and grandchildren. Yes, this is the movie I want to take grandchildren to. I want to take my grandchildren to this movie. I'm like, This is what Hollywood used to be like, and these people are looking back on their past, and they're playing it. They're playing it straight. They're saying, "This is what made me good. This is what part of what made me famous. I'm going to do it again," with a little wink and a nod. This is fantastic. The story is good. Toxicity. Let's go there first. Oh my goodness, we have one heroine who is utterly abused. I mean, all the way to waterboarding. You don't get much more toxic than that. I mean, how many times did the press tell us that that was the worst thing you'd ever do to anybody in history?
Yeah, I remember those days.
Yeah, I do too. So, I mean, they picked one character and made her the toxicity victim. Everything happens to her. Toxic? Yeah, it's an 8. At least an 8. Greatness? Oh, if you've ever liked Dolph Lundgren or Sylvester Stallone or Bruce Willis or Jet Li, my favorite in this whole cast, and I wanted him to be more, except I love the scene where he's like, well, I have to work harder because I'm short. I'm laughing my ass off. I'm like, oh my God. That was cracking me up. That is so much fun. Jet Li going, I have to work harder. It's like Jet Li is the one guy in this movie that it doesn't matter whether he has a gun or a knife or any other weapon. He's like, he's your worst nightmare, which he should be. And he does it beautifully. Everybody plays to their strengths in this movie. You get all of the action movie heroes doing what action movie heroes did best. And this movie's just a hell of a lot of fun. I compared it earlier to Hot Fuzz, where that was a parody. Where they were, but the point is that the characters were just as we are, all excited about remembering these movies and having watched these movies, and we watch them again. These movies are a lot of fun. Mrs. Redshirt said that's when Sylvester Stallone dove for the airplane and grabbed for the door and got a hold of it. He said, that's bullshit. I said, it's an action movie. Go with it. This is not a Daniel Craig James Bond movie where you're supposed to believe that a 57-year-old James Bond is able to do that. No, this is an action movie. Go with it. Suspend your fucking disbelief and go with it, because it's gonna get better, and it did. And the movie is
no one's suspending my willy in disbelief, Richard.
This movie is an enormous amount of fun. So
enormous.
Wait a minute. You want to know, Nick? I would have to say it's even huge.
Oh,
huge. Yes. This movie is at least a 9 on the greatness scale. This movie falls back to all the movies I remember from these guys, the Jet Li movies, the Sylvester Stallone movies, everything that I remember from the movies I watched back in the day. They brought all these guys back together, and they all look at each other and go, yeah, we know. We're here because we did this before. We're going to do it again. Bet your ass we are. Yes! Fuck me, yes, this is so much fun. This is absolutely a blast to watch. If you haven't watched all of the movies these guys were in before, this won't make as much sense. If you have watched all the movies these guys were in before, this movie's going to be, oh my God, this is Old Home Week, this is Hot Fuzz, and you're going to be just like the two cops going, yes, we're orgasming over all of these movies, and we're having a grand old time. It is a lot of fun. This movie is great. So, 9.
9.
Nine.
Oh, all right. I like that. Well said, Red Shirt. I'm not going to be able to top that, but I will say Obviously, when I first saw this in theaters, my friend with my bud and his girlfriend, who she was the third wheel, I wasn't, she was. That's what it's like when you go two men to see the Expendables at the brogasm. It was then, and like Tom, I really enjoyed it then, but I really do appreciate it even more now. It does actually have rewatchability. It is something you can put on to pay attention to, or some just to have on for noise in the background. Some where you can just reiterate the lines, enjoy the action, the camaraderie. And it is obviously a joy of seeing all these heroes do all this stuff, and you still believe it's happening. You still go with all the lines. It's such a joy ride. It is one of the ultimate love letters to a long lasting franchise. It shows you that these old dogs still have it, and they're not has-beens. They can still dish it out better than the best of them today. They still got it, and once again, there are actual great performances. There are actual great character arcs that this movie doesn't get enough credit for. And like 70s, there's actual great music to this too. A lot of the things that happen in this movie do actually fit. There is more substance to this movie than it's ever getting credit for. And in the Expendables story as a whole, whether we're talking the sequels or the comic books that followed. So yeah, for me, I'm gonna give this movie a straight. I'm gonna give it a 9.1 out of 10, and I'm probably give about 100 gallons of Terry Cruz's sweat out of 100. And for toxicity, dude, this is gonna get me. We're turning this one to 11. This is a toxicity to 11. Only 2 women. This movie is the epitome of dick measuring on top of dick measuring on top of dick measuring, and these dudes, the homoeroticism, the banter, the playing off of each other, the Dolph Lundgren-ness of it all. And yes, Dolph Lundgren is his own category now. He now forever always will be on Toxic Tuesday. Dolph Lundgren has transcended everything on Toxic Tuesday. So yes, those are my scores. A little bit more stripped down, simpler than the Great Red Shirt, but the point comes across nonetheless. So that is the Expendables, folks. So hopefully Expendables 4 or Expend 4 Bulls, whatever you want to call it this week, hits. Let's hope. Thank you guys for Thank you guys for sticking around with us for almost 3 hours of your time. I do appreciate it. Thank you for all the super chats and the direct donations, and to the new subs. I hope you like what you saw. I'm going to. I hope you like what you saw, and I hope you come back for more. And to all the usual suspects, thank you for supporting this maddening show. You guys are fucking awesome, and I do greatly appreciate the living hell out of all of you. And thank you for all the birthday wishes as well. And I'm going to now acknowledge it's Courtney's Fellowship of Oddballs for $4.99. It says happy 21st birthday, Nick. Much love to all my favorite dudes in chat too. Thank you, Courtney.
I remember
this
Michael's
panel of
video.
dudes appreciates you. Thank you, Courtney. All right, guys, this is going to be the part where we say next week's movie, in case you somehow miss it. Hard Times next week. Ray Charles Bronson. Oh, Bronson's coming back to Toxic Tuesday. It's going to be huge. Let's plug our plugs, and then we're going to slide on
I thought this was the movie for next week. I thought it was the Dependables. I thought we agreed to that. Come on. Come on. I'm gonna clip that. Come on.
All right. All right. Let's see. Oh yeah. I'm not surprised that Expendables is already off to a decent start in China. That doesn't surprise me. China people do like their action movies.
They like their stars too.
Yeah, they do. All right, Tollbridge, you're starting off first. Plug your plugs.
All right. So if you guys like watching game theory, if you like miniatures, if you are a big fan of practical effects, if you like watching black men get sweaty, then I think you come over to Bruce Lombardo 75 after the youtube.com /. You watch yourself a little bit of live plays. We do every other Saturday. There's a campaign that Bruce runs. On 2 out of 3 Saturdays, not Bruce's campaign. It's his buddy Chris. And Chris will pretty much deride and chat the whole time. So don't take it personally. Now on Monday nights, Bruce and Miss Janet get together and they have themselves a girl, a guy, and a movie where they do a dissertation of a film they just watched the Sunday before in his Discord. And then on Thursday nights, he gathers about 84 years of Dungeon Master experience with his friends, and they have a show called Table Breakers. Thank you very much for allowing me to be on this panel, Nick. This was a great day. And how, by the way, sir, could I ask everybody in the panel to help me sing along with a happy birthday tune for Mr. Nick?
Oh God,
Three,
no, we're
two,
gonna drive the rest of
one.
our audience away.
Damn it.
Let's not.
We need
Let's
Bat Tom
not.
for that, really.
Yeah, we need that's a
Bat
Bat Tom exclusive.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I appreciate
You
the
want
thought,
you want to
Bruce.
be you want to hear happy birthday.
No,
Happy
gonna
birthday to you.
You want to be you want to no
no.
not bad. You want to hear proper happy birthday.
No, I'm scared.
Okay, fine.
If he does,
If I was
that's cool,
rich,
that's cool.
if I was rich, I'd fly us all out to Nick's apartment in a few hours, stand outside of his bedroom window with a boombox, and do the say anything happy birthday.
John Cusack.
Yeah,
See,
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
accept that. I'll accept that. I'll accept that. You guys
Right.
are welcome to do
Are
that.
we gonna
If
sing it
wakes
or
me up,
what?
I don't care.
No, we're not going to sing it because he doesn't want it. So that's fine, and I respect
Happy
that. Nick.
birthday.
I appreciate
Yeah,
the thought,
Nick.
Bruce.
Nick's a real name. Nick's your buddy.
Birthday.
I can do it justice, Nick.
Happy
Nick will feed you pizza.
I don't want to
Mr.
drive our audience away.
You don't want it. All right, never
Happy
mind.
birthday.
I tried. I tried. So
See, I
anyway,
did it like
Okay.
Marilyn Monroe for you there.
Your time
Happy
is your
birthday.
time.
To you.
Did you tuck it 70s?
Happy birthday. Oh, I did.
You want the Bill
Twice.
you want the Bill Murray version?
No, I don't. No, Bruce, I thank you for your time and your energy and your wisdom. And that is beyond good enough. All right.
Thank you. Sir.
Thank you. 70s wish that 70s rock fan with a Canadian $10 says happy birthday, brother. 70s, you did not have
Happy
to.
birthday, brother.
Thank you, dude. You didn't
So
have
I'll just
to.
send it back
You're
to
part
me.
of the show. That sounds great.
Well, another great stream, buddy. Thanks for doing this. It was
Are
awesome.
you ready to get hard next week?
Oh, I'll be here long, hard, and strong for hard times for sure.
I'm
We're
ready.
supposed to wait till next week to be hard. My bad.
It's at my age. Yeah. Yeah. So I do have a channel. Apparently, I have a channel. Seemingly, that 70s rock fan doing pretty well. I'm up to 1,170 subscribers, creeping towards 1,200.
Nice.
Did a great stream yesterday. Oh, I thought it was a great stream. YouTube didn't think it was so great, but I thought it was good on Kentucky Fried Movie. You don't want to see me in a dress, a kilt maybe, but not a dress. Yeah, so we had a great stream in Kentucky Fried Movie. Had a lot of laughs. It's very difficult to do an R-rated movie in a PG YouTube stream, but we did our best, and it was awesome fun. I will be on hosting as usual on Thursday the Rock and Roll Rowdies live show. Dustin usually joins me too for that, where the guys chat about their lives as road managers. We have a lot of fun over on the Rock and Roll Rowdies channel at 1 p.m. Mountain Time. And then I'll probably be popping up on the usual stuff like Midnight Says After Dark and Culture, Late Night Culture, and Snowdub is a great, those who don't know, and I'm sure you'll do, Snowdub has a fantastic channel. And then Saturday nights he does a great show called The Cotton Council. So I would check that out if you want a lot of laughs. And on my channel next Monday, we will be doing an edition of It's Only Talk and Roll, and we will be paying tribute to the one and only Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Ooh.
I am not worthy, but we're going to try anyway because I miss that guy, Stevie Ray. So 3 p.m. Mountain Time, that 70s Rock Fan channel next Monday.
Killer. Mark, thank you for plugging the channel, sir, of Bruce
Oh, yeah, let me
and
get 70s and
and now that 70s rock fan and 70s. It's been pleasuring. Thank you for your Canadian 10. I'll send it right back to you. It'll be great.
No,
And
Just
then
keep sending it back and forth, and
Yeah,
eventually goes down to zero as YouTube gets their cut.
As YouTube gets their cut, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, just send them back. Send them back the $7 you actually got, Nick.
You better
wasn't
come
a-
to America. You better come to America next summer. That's all I ask.
Well, the good news is, for those who know, I've been suffering quite badly from back problems since last December, and the wonderful Canadian health system. It's been a struggle to get anything done about it. But I did go and, well, I'm now on the list for surgery. It could be in a few months, but that will hopefully cure the problem, and then hopefully early next year I'll be fit to travel again. So.
I hope so. I hope socialist
Sure.
medicine finally cures you.
So, well, they may offer me the other alternative first that they prefer these days. but,
Preferred alternative. Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, so that's gonna hopefully
I feel
make
better.
next year I'll be able to get some meetups. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, 70s. Appreciate it. Appreciate you. Let's get hard next week. All right.
Oh yeah. Times will be hard.
Let's get long.
How many
hard.
times can we be hard?
Oh, dude. On
At our
Toxic
age?
Tuesday. All right. Dustin.
Thank you to everybody in the chat for your best wishes. By the way, it's been a struggle.
Yeah.
but,
You'll get by 70s and it will be huge.
Keto Simple is my channel. Right now, basically just going live on Sunday morning, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. That is early as fuck, so I don't expect most of you to come out. But Chandra and I do go live on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. I know they're conflicting with a lot of other channels, but trying to find a time in which we can go live in our niche and not be stepping on other niche channels' toes. Tuesday at 7 p.m. is what it was. My camera is stuck, so I've been trying to find alternative ways to record more content. Hopefully, we get that squared away sooner than later. I don't know. Chandra said I can't get a new camera until like next year. So, coming up on 4,000 subscribers. I am 194 subscribers away from 4,000.
Congratulations.
So, that'll be a cool milestone, right?
Huge.
Oh, wait. Wait till you 10K, man.
Dude,
I can't
10K,
wait to see
10K would make a difference because that's when a lot of sponsors start coming out of the woodwork.
Nice.
Ooh. Hear that, guys? Get those subs in so we can get our boy slid all the way in to 10K.
Yes.
I'll see you next week for Hard Times.
I'm hard already, baby.
Oh, good. Well, thanks for being here. I'm going
Thank
to
you for
tease you for
having
a
me.
whole week. Oh, fuck. Trust me, the feelings are mutual and
I love you long
pleasurable.
time.
Oh, Mark.
Yeah.
But before you go, Mark. I just want to say, Red Shirt. Well, we lost Red Shirt. He's probably got signal issues considering where he lives. Thanks for being here, Red Shirt. If you're listening still, appreciate your time. And he hangs out with Jed Revenwolf on the cocktail ripoff of Cocktail Lounge. We'll just say it, ripoff of
The
Cocktail
MFR?
Lounge. Yeah, it's
Okay.
like a bootleg version, but Red Shirt,
Bootleg,
thanks
calls
for
it a
being here,
bootleg,
man.
yeah.
And Red Shirt also gets credit for being the one that suggested Hard Times. So thanks for being here, Red Shirt, and thanks for hanging out, man. All right, Mark, go ahead and go.
Thank you. Yeah. Red Shirt was saying his interwebs really bad today, so shout out to Red Shirt. But yeah, check out my channel. I do a lot of comic book talk, toy reviews. My main show is Sunday Night Geekery, Sunday night 10 p.m. Eastern. Hang out with Clobbering Times and Dadman 55 and a bunch of other buddies over on Sunday night, talking about what happened during the week in Geek. Also, a lot of times it turns into barbecue and food talk, so it turns into Sunday Night Eatery. But yeah, it's always fun hanging out with you guys. It's a blast being here for Toxic Tuesday. So check out my show on Sunday night or check out my channel. And I'm posting links. Let me put my link in there. A lot of toy reviews, some 3D printing. And Thursday night, I'm on the Clubhouse at Clobbering Times and Raquel Briggs, and we review mostly sci-fi stuff. Might be reviewing The Prisoner coming up soon. We'll see what our next show is. We just finished reviewing Jerry Anderson's UFO. So we do shows and comics and Geek Talk on Thursday night. That's also 10 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, really appreciate hanging out with you guys, and appreciate all the subs and everyone who gives me always when I tell my kids are making fun of me, like oh, I've got over 825 subs. Like, oh, not bad, Dad. That's not so bad. When I first started, you have 25 subs, so it's getting there. And but it's who cares, right? It's always fun hanging out with you guys, and if we had 5 people watching, I don't care. It's like hanging out with your friends and watching a movie, a night like tonight. So and but we're blessed with a pretty big audience in the chat and a great chat. So that makes it all the more fun. So we've got a huge group hanging out and having a fun Tuesday night with us. So much appreciated, and get you guys in the next week. And what's the movie next week? Hard Target? What is
Hard
it?
Times.
Oh, that was Hard Target. Crap.
The Hard
It's
Way.
High Times. The magazine.
High times. Yep. So yeah, I'll make sure I
Hard,
clip the
hard again, isn't it?
hard again. Hard again. Yep.
Italian's dying.
So yeah, thanks everyone, and sub to everyone here on the panel too. So much appreciated, and and happy birthday, Nick Weiser. Yes, I won't sing
Thank
for
you,
you,
Mark.
because that would kill you. But yeah, happy birthday, and
Well, you can do it in person. You're welcome.
Yeah,
to
we do it in
all
person.
Of you together in person can do it.
Well, how many pizzas did you eat on your birthday? That's what I want to know.
I had about 15, 16 slices.
There you go. Not
Yeah.
bad. So you
No.
divide that by your
Well-
age. You got to at least do 3 per year, I guess, or what's the ratio?
Well, I had to split with the family, and I was coming off of also having birthday cake, and still having to, balance out energy between that and the show I went to on Sunday. So it's all a balance act. All balance.
Balance.
But
Yep.
Mark, your work is fracking fantastic for Toxic
Thank you.
Tuesday. Guys, go sub to Mark Do This. See, he's the reason why we get the great clips and videos for this show. Without him, we'd just be a bunch of dudes just going off. And I don't know how much that you could survive. Mark, have a great night, week, sir. And I owe you a visit soon on the Geekery.
Yeah.
Overdude. And I
That'd be
will
great,
do it
yep.
long, hard, and strong.
Yeah, I just hit
Until
100 shows
then.
on that. Hard to believe. Yeah.
Ooh, oh, yeah. Oh, that's good. Let's get you 150 long ones next.
Sounds good.
All right, Dash. What do you got coming out in the next few days?
Well, for the next few days, I'm going to be working on some comedy stuff with some sentence mixing and some AI. I've been waiting for Admiral Thrawn to show up in the Ahsoka show so I could use the bootleg footage with an AI clone of Elon Musk's voice and do goofy stuff with that. And so it looks like he's finally showed up. And so I have to watch that episode and get the footage, and then I'll come up with something really fun. Other than that, just game streaming, like, talking about like anything pop culture wise that comes up, like in the world of gaming, any censorship, any like big news stories pertaining to pop culture. Might even like, give my thoughts on the Expendables when it comes out. Like, it all depends. A lot of stuff just happens like when I get inspiration.
Okay. All right. Awesome. And Mark,
I'm looking for
Okay.
Dash attacks.
I tagged his name on the caption. Just
Oh,
click
thank
on
you.
his
Yeah, let me
name
grab
in
that.
the
Yeah, I
app.
was just you should have it in the file. So.
Yeah, so it's Rasenga 9000 as the at.
Yeah, it's just right click.
I'll
and
grab
it'll
it. Yep.
take you there.
I got it. Yep.
All right, Dash. Hey, thanks for hanging out, man.
Oh,
Thanks for
it was a
being
pleasure.
here.
It was an absolute pleasure.
And it's mutually, exclusively, and heartfeltly felt.
Oh boy.
All right. Once again, guys, thanks for the birthday comics. Thanks for the super chats. Mark, thank you for your wrenching service. Thanks, guys, for the direct donos, and thank you for your time, new and or old. Thank you for supporting Toxic Tuesday. Next week, Hard Times, and for those who are looking for the stuff outside of it, I I'll be recording with Eric O'Sullivan from the comic side of YouTube. We're going to do review Mark Miller's Big Game #3. That'll be out Thursday morning. And Friday night on the Comic Shop Talk, we'll be having Eric Weathers on. For those not in the know, he is the letterer of ISOM 1 and 2 and Cyber Frog. He has his own book, Battle Brick Road, and we're going to be promoting Battle Brick Road 2. So looking forward to having Eric Weathers on, picking his brand apart on all things comics. And of course, you can find me on Comics Division's channel, as well as Midnight's Edge After Dark, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And once again, guys, thank you very, very much. As per usual, our intro is our outro. And you get to look at a photo of the Dependables as we go on out.
I'd like to show you something.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want, and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no, I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm
You have to ask yourself one question. Do I feel
You're still here? It's over. Go home.